Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day number 3 of the 2024 edition of PCA Potomac's Rock the Summit here at Summit Point Raceway. I'm Greg Ginsberg along with Brian Donati, and we've got Spencer Gaynor here, our director, pushing all the buttons, giving you all the great views of the action. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Greg.
It is a beautiful day for endurance racing here at Summit Point, and I'll put the weather up there for you as we're getting ready to see our drivers head out onto the grid for the first event, the first race of the day. Spencer, real quick, why don't we throw up the schedule, what we have coming up here today. If we go all the way to the right-hand side of your screen, it is Endurance Day here at Summit Point Raceway for Rock the Summit. Brian, we went through all of our sprint races yesterday, but today, 2 90-minute endurance races here, as you can see there at the bottom of your screen, our 911 Cup, GT5, ME1, SP2 and 3, SPBs. That SPB is Spec Boxster.
Right. Yeah.
SPC, and then some of our stock classes, FH and I, are going to be out for their 90-minute race, and then we'll have one more endurance race after that, as our racers for this first group are now on their pace lap behind that beautiful Porsche Macan car. Let's start running down the order here, Brian, and we'll see how many we can get to before the green flag flies.
I was going to say absolutely, because it said 31 on the grid sheet, but there's more than 31 they're taking off.
I think we have quite a bit more than that. We'll try and fill in some of the blanks as we get underway. We've got 90 minutes to work on it.
Yeah,
Brian.
absolutely. We'll figure it out.
All right, so your pole sitter today, and he's trying to run the table. He had a couple of sprint races wins yesterday. It is Franklin Prey. He's in his Porsche 997 car. That is an iStock machine. Eric Yortsoy, scheduled to start on the outside of the front row. He's in an SPC Porsche Cayman S, the number 321 machine. Starting on the inside of row number 2, starting third, driving the number 5 SP3 Porsche 944 S2, Ken Agina, with Mark Calzaretta in the number 155 SP3 Porsche 968, and those two have been going at it all weekend long in the sprint races, Brian. Patrick James is going to start 5th today. He's in the number 41 SPC Porsche Cayman with Ryan McGrath. He's driving the number 77 H stock Porsche 997. That's the gray machine. He starts 6th. Sam Amano is running in iStock. He's in a 2014 Porsche Cayman S. That's the number 4 car with Terrence Judge starting 8th. Terrence is in the H stock class. He's driving the number 59 Porsche 964. That's a 1990 vintage machine. Mark Salvador starting 9th. He's in the number 667 H class Porsche Boxster S with Michael Konitz also in H. He's starting 10th. He's in the number 901 Porsche 996. Then we've got 2 911 Cup racers. We got Don Anger starting 11th. He's in the number 50 machine with Dwayne Moses starting 12th. He's in the number 64 car. Then we've got David Nisbaum in F stock. He's driving the 06 Porsche Boxster S. Jordan Simon in the number 54 Boxster. He will start 14th. So that's your front 7 rows, Brian. We'll get to the rest here in just a few moments as our starter, Mark Rougeau, is looking over the field as they come down the front straight. And there it is. Green flag is in the air, Brian. 90 minutes of Porsche endurance racing here underway from Summit Point.
Tell you what, Greg, we're starting out with a big, well, I'll use the same word we used yesterday, gaggle of cars.
Thank
3
you.
wide, 4 or 5 rows deep, heading down into turn 1. The driver, Patrick James, we talked about a lot him yesterday, gets a great start to this hour-and-a-half Enduro. I tell you what, he went by Ken Agina, Mark Calzaretta in that 155, and he went by both of them.
There we go. So wonderful start here as the field still primarily 2x2 as they come into turn number 3 and start to set up for the fastest corner on the course, affectionately known as the chute here, or turn 4, as they're blasting down the hill. Brian coming down to the slowest corner, turn 5, hard under braking now into that corner. As we watch here, we'll see, probably going to have a little bit of brake lock up as we have a couple drivers trying to make their way right around the outside there. That is a very tough pass to make, especially if the driver on the inside is ready for it. Let's take a look at some of our other starters here. Starting 15th today, Lee Lasberg, he's driving the number 201 911 Cup car. That's a Porsche. That's a 1979 Porsche 911 SC. Michael Vietz in SPC starting 16th. He's in the number 458 machine, with Alex Awe starting 17th. He's in the number 79 Spec Boxster. And then Ryan Farragut also in Spec Boxster. We would assume that that's probably both Ryan and Alex Farragut.
I think she's in her own
in her own car. Matter of fact, we see
the
green Porsche 944.
She's actually going to join us later on today.
Yeah, we'll see if she comes out there in the yellow group. So they were starting 18th. Let's take a look, Brian, here as we complete lap 1, and not a big surprise, Franklin Prey in his 997 machine takes the point. He is your leader after lap 1. Eric Yortsoy second in his Cayman S, with Patrick James currently running third, and that is the battle again in SPC. Both of them in Cayman S's, currently running second and third overall. Ryan McGrath, he is your leader in H, running fourth overall in the gray 997 Porsche, with Cal Zaretta fifth and Terrence Judge sixth.
Tell you what, Greg, I'm watching this early on, and we still got a long way to go.
Yes, we do.
I'm seeing drivers making passes right now. That's like, you do realize we got another hour and 27 minutes left to go. Again, this is a product of, we talked about this yesterday in the sprint races and even Friday night. But this is a true product of, you have to take care of the equipment,
of
right?
Course.
You've got to get through this. And we're going to talk about some of the other stuff that happens here as the race goes on between pit stops. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, some of these may have driver changes
that is correct.
Going on. So that's going to be a little bit of a different scenario.
Dynamic. Yeah.
One of the things you will notice today, that we did remove one of our cameras from down in the backside of the racetrack. So you'll see Spencer that, when he goes through there it is. That's our pit lane cam now. So we'll be able to pick up when drivers come in, they make some changes, and kind of go from there. So we're going to maneuver around a little bit, and you'll be able to see all the action. It looks like we got one car coming on pit road right now, coming down. I'm not sure if that is a strategy play or if there was a problem. I did hear a call that somebody did go too off somewhere, so we'll see. It's kind of hard to make out that number. We'll see if anybody goes over the wall.
Yeah,
there.
that is the 667 machine, I believe, Brian.
They're looking at the front end of that car too, Greg. So
yes,
it could be part of what.
Yeah, that's Mark Salvador in the H stock, the orange Boxster S, and yeah, they're taking a look at that. So. And we'll continue to run down and give you a feel for some of the other starters here, Brian. But in these endurance races, and we'll see this both in this endurance race as well as our second endurance race of the day, all of the teams are required to make a 5-minute pit stop. So that gives ample time for them to do a driver change and any other work that needs to be done on the car. I would suspect that with, we call this an endurance race, but for 90 minutes, most of these cars will likely be going the distance on the same set of tires and same brake pads and what have you. But as you mentioned, there's a big difference as Salvador now rejoins the action here at Summit Point. We saw yesterday in some of the shorter races, the sprint races that were 30 minutes in length, where the racers really did have to do quite a bit of tire management as the temperatures came up.
Right.
This may not be such an issue for this early morning endurance race, but certainly for our second endurance race, where the race is going to be ending after 12 noon, where the sun is high in the sky and the track temperature will likely be rising considerably during the course of that entire race. The racers are going to have to be able to look after those tires and not overheat them.
Yeah, and one of the other things that we have here with this, with this group, with the PCA, especially in this Enduro, is when you do come in a pit and you go back out, there is a blend line, right? So we have the two cutouts here, at Summit Point, and your blend line is you've got to stay far driver's right till you get past it, or actually at that second cutout, then you can merge back in based on what it is. So again, you've got to stay on that blend line all the way down.
Yeah,
so
something that has much more meaning and much more impact than during the sprint races that we had yesterday, where we had very few cars go in and out of the pits.
Yep.
All right, a couple more racers that we have in this field. We finished with our top 9 rows. Let's go to row number 10, starting 19th. William Calcagno in his Spec Boxster. That's the 56 machine, the blue and silver car. Then we've got Lawson Wilder in the number 116 Spec Boxster. I think that's the Red Bull car that we see out there. As well, the 116. Then we've got Jared Rodaver in his Spec Boxster. That is the white and blue machine. He starts 21st. Michael Gershon in the 179 F-Stock Boxster S will start 22nd. Sam Halabi in Spec Boxster, the number 145 car, 23rd. Then Daniel Judge in a Spec Boxster, the 707 car, starting 24th. Kurt Leda scheduled to start 25th in the 02 Spec Boxster. And then we have Alex Farragut. She's in that green Porsche 944. She was scheduled to start 26th. Mark Francis in a Spec Boxster starting 27th in the number 91 machine. That's an all-black car. Then we've got Martin Harrison also in an all-black machine in the Porsche 951. He starts 28th. Frank Osborne 29th in his ME1 orange Boxster. Patty Moscone in the number 30 271 Porsche 944, the yellow car, starting 30th, and then Gary Strawberry in the SP2 machine, and I don't have a chassis for him. The number 66 car was scheduled to start 31st. In looking here, Brian, that's a great story, but as you mentioned, more than 31 cars. Actually, had 31 drivers go out today, and we'll
Looks
try.
Like 33 drivers took the green flag. So.
Exactly. It appears that Michael Konitz, Michael Vietz, Michael Gershon, as well as Daniel Judge did not take the green in their machines.
Well, remember we saw yesterday morning where we had Kunitz and Gershon. They had that incident,
right?
Where
cars
both of those
together,
coming out of turn 1 and turn 2. So I don't think they raced in. Definitely didn't race in the afternoon, and definitely not able to make a call for this Enduro. So. Again, long way to go. We got another car down on pit road. That is still Mark Salvador again down on pit road. So that car really having some challenges this morning. And I don't remember if he went out for warm-ups this morning either. I don't remember seeing him going out. So obviously something that has come up between yesterday afternoon and today because he was definitely pretty quick yesterday and made some pretty good moves, some pretty good passes.
Hey, Brian, we just saw the pink machine go through there. I think that was Eugene Basha in the truffle sniffer livery. Harkening back to the old Porsche 917-20 going through there, and we have somebody in the chat. And that is the Florida French Bulldog saying go, go. And we have one other person saying go Pink Monster, Team Elbaga as well. So there you go.
Well, I don't think the University of Florida did very well last night.
No,
I did watch a little bit of that game when I got back to the motorhome. So sorry, they did not win.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, so that was Eugene Basha. We've got another pink car in the field, and that is Tamer Elbaga. And I love the livery on this Porsche Boxster, this 1999 Spec Boxster machine, Brian. It is very reminiscent of Rexy and Roxy, some of our favorite cars, big fan favorites on the IMSA circuit. Tamer, we asked him what other racing experience he has, and like so many young people coming up today, sim racing is his experience. He won his very first race of the year. And this year that was the endurance race at the Glen earlier this year, and he finished in P2 back in 2022 when he was running not in Spec Boxster but running in the H class. So great to see him out here. Oddly enough, I think in this group, and he's running for Provost Motorsports here this year. Wow, and we've got somebody who just went for a pretty long ride, Brian, coming through turn 10. We'll try and get the number on that car in a moment, but you saw and that apparently was the 165 machine. Good timing, Brian, that we should talk about, because that was Tamer Elbaga that went off there in the pink 99 Porsche Boxster. And apparently that Boxster has a pretty long history, Brian. It belonged to 2023 Spec Boxster champion Daniel Schaffner for part of the season, as well as taking championships with Chris Drake back in the mid-2010s. Now it's got some provenance. It's got some Summit Point gravel associated with it as well.
Looks like Mark Salvador's day may be done. He just made the right-hand turn. We went to I could sit here and see him on the camera. He sat down in the pit road there for quite some time, yes. I guess in the in the black flag box, and then decided to make that turn right now.
Yeah, so he's back in the paddock. We'll see. I mean, that doesn't preclude him from coming back out.
Back out. Yep.
Exactly.
Also getting some word across the radio here, potentially maybe some contact at some point between the 02, I believe that's Kurt Lita, and the 34. I'm not seeing a 34. I'm wondering if that would be the 341.
Right.
Would actually be Connor Henderson. We kind of had a little chuckle up here this morning.
Yes.
During the Levitas Foundation, kind of silent auction things. I was bidding on the silhouette there of the Porsche, only to lose out in the last 30 seconds to Connor's dad, sitting down at the end, and we had a big chuckle about that last night. I thought that was actually very nice to have a little friendly competition for charity. Nothing better than having some friendly competition for charity to raise some money. So we each had a number in mind, and we went above that number, believe me.
Yes, we had a great time last night after our sprint races ended, Brian. Of course, the silent auction wrapped up in support of the Aaron Levitas Foundation. We may hopefully get a chance to talk to Michael Levitas here in the tower sometime today. In addition to that, I wanted to thank the great bluegrass band was here last night, the Carolyn Everly Band, and we then had our wonderful barbecue dinner here presented by Decision Technologies and Radial Tire Company. And so I want to thank our great partners and sponsors of PCA Potomac for providing our meal last night. All the drivers and all of the volunteers really seemed to enjoy it last night, Brian.
Yeah, it looks like our leaders now, Greg, are coming up to the back half of this field now, so our overall leaders are going to start to endure some traffic. Looks like I got one car coming down pit road as well.
That is the 91 machine, Brian, that is coming down. That is Mark Francis of OG Racing fame. Has been at OG Racing for a number of years. He's in the number 91 Spec Boxster, and we see him coming down the pit lane right now. So as we mentioned, our drivers, each one of our teams is required to make a 5-minute long pit stop. This may be the 5-minute time as he pulls right in front of his team's tent. And Brian, what we've found out is, well, not that we can't all count. We know I'm bad at simple math, but you could easily have a stopwatch in the car, what have you, if you don't have crew with you. If you go and end your pit stop early and you are in your pit stall for less than 5 minutes, you will be required to return to the pit lane to complete your 5-minute pit stop. Which doesn't sound all that bad until you consider the length of time it takes to transit the entire pit lane. So it's a pretty considerable penalty if that is the case. And Brian, we'd like to thank our very first Club Racing national sponsor, Porsche Cars North America, funding Club Racing news and sponsoring the Workers' Choice Awards this weekend, considered to be the most prestigious award given at a club race. Thank you, PCNA, for offering vital support to our club racing program.
And so our overall leaders just now coming out of turn 2, headed up into turn 3 right there. Still, again, Franklin Prey leading over Eric Yortsoy. And I tell you what, those two have been kind of been going back and forth pretty much right now. I mean, we've got to the point where I think Eric got up to, got really right up to the back bumper there, Franklin Prey, the last couple laps ago when I was keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, so Prey turned in the fastest lap time of the race so far just before he caught the traffic, caught the back end of the field. I wouldn't I wouldn't expect that fast lap to be reset anytime soon.
Not until he gets back out into hopefully some clean air.
Exactly. And so Eric Yortsoy, who, as we said, is staying very close with Franklin Prey right now in the battle for the lead in SPC, where Yortsoy and James started in very close proximity. James has now fallen almost 20 seconds back from Yortsoy. So that SPC endurance battle really opening up. Yortsoy starting to close up ground on Prey, down to about half second as we watch them all come down through turn one.
Yeah, I tell you what, there goes the 91 Mark Francis. So I think he did serve his 5-minute penalties, or not penalty, but 5-minute pit stop. So I think they're good to go for the rest of the time.
All right, so Brian, why don't we do this? We're about a little bit over 15 minutes into today's race. Let's take a quick little break. We'll thank some of our partners and sponsors that are bringing you here all this action from Summit Point Raceway this weekend of the 2024 Rock the Summit.
Decision Technologies' experienced team of engineering and management specialists have significantly contributed to a wide array of crucial Department of Defense initiatives. Our streamlined management structures flexibly respond to customer requirements. Decision Technologies is driven by the foresight and knowledge required to advance the technical capabilities of our clients and help the nation succeed in most critical missions. Using a total systems approach, Decision Technologies provides high-quality, cost-effective technical support services. Decision Technologies' capabilities include system performance assessment, requirements definition, design trade studies, system architecture analysis, cost schedule trade studies, risk assessment, and operational evaluation. We match our capabilities to the needs of our customers. To see if they're a match for you, visit decision-tech.com. As a platinum sponsor, Decision Technologies is proud to support Rock the Summit 2024, the PCA Potomac Founders Region Club Race. We thank the 100-plus volunteers, the event planning team, and all the racers for this year's event.
With almost 200 episodes and counting, Fearless in the Kitchen, a YouTube cooking channel by Paul Amico, is dedicated to sharing hints on cooking from the heart and head with ingredients from around the world. Paul's cooking is his passion, and he wants to share it with you. Creating meals using what's on hand, Paul uses old, new, and original techniques. Just grab stuff and make it work. That's where the name comes from, Fearless in the Kitchen. Paul inspires you to create variations of the dishes he creates, pushing you to see the endless possibilities when you put your own twist on ingredients and flavors in the pan. No fancy video effects or editing, just clear and easy to follow demonstrations. So come join along on this culinary voyage. Paul posts new episodes on Saturdays and is a platinum sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2024. Paul's recipes will be featured at the Friday Volunteer Dinner as a thank you to the hardworking and dedicated volunteers who are making this event possible.
And welcome back to Summit Point Raceway in the 2024 Rock the Summit, not 2025. We're not there yet.
No, I was going to say, I really want to see how I'm doing because, yesterday you said 2025 and I really...
Hey, if we could see into the future. I want to also thank one of our folks in the chat says, you guys are doing a great job. I'm not a racing fan because he values his life. Well, we value our lives too.
Correct.
That's why we're up here in the booth. Actually, we're former racers.
Yeah. Well, some of us still do it, but on a smaller scale. And
yeah, exactly.
I've gone around here in a go-kart, so
hey,
I've done very well.
And I've wrecked at almost every corner at this course.
Greg
so,
knows every inch of the grass because he's run into it.
The grass, the gravel, the tire wall, you name it, I've been there. Exactly. I'm worldly that way, Brian.
I thought at one year they were going to make you come out and repair all the tire walls.
Oh my God!
You did every one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's quickly look here, Brian. I'm going to break things down as we're just now about 20 minutes into this 90-minute endurance race. Let me break things down here by class. Of course, we've got sitting up at the top of the field, Franklin Prey. He leads the I stock class in his Porsche 997, the black car. He's got about 50 seconds right now on Sam Amano, who is running second in class. In F stock, David Nissenbaum is your leader over Jordan Simon. Both of those drivers in 2004 Boxster S's. In H stock, Ryan Magrup is your leader in the number 77 Porsche 997. He's got a lead over Terrence Judge. And, of course, Mark Salvador took his car back behind the wall after 3 laps. We'll track and let you know if that car comes back out on course. In the very large Spec Boxster field, we've got 12 racers in Spec Boxster. Alex Awe in the number 79 machine. He's your leader with Lawson Wilder second. Ryan Farragut up into third now. Kevin Aberrant is running in fourth. In SP3, Kenagina has the measure for the moment on Mark Calzaretta. We saw yesterday, Brian, where the 944 driver Kenagina, the 968 driver Calzaretta, they split the difference. We had the 2 sprint races yesterday. Gina won the morning race. Calzaretta won the afternoon race. Connor Henderson is currently running third in that class in the number 341 machine. In SP2, Alex Farragut currently leading Gary Stanberry. Farragut in her Porsche 944, Stanberry in a 924S. And if we look at the 911 Cup class, Don Anger, and I have to watch out because I think as we were talking yesterday morning, as we were getting the pronunciation of Donald's name, he ended up putting the car in the gravel trap.
Yeah.
So Donald Anger is currently your leader. He's driving a 1987 a 911. Dwayne Moses. And we ought to try and pick up these 3 racers, Brian, if we can. The 911 Cup race, Anger, Moses, and Basha, and we know that Eugene is in the pink number 23 911, the pink machine. They are all within about 0.7 of a second of one another, and so let's see if we're picking them up here. I don't think
I don't believe that's them.
Yeah.
That's Alex. And
Alex. Yeah. So we'll try and pick them up, but that race has been very, very close. No, that's Tamer Albega in the back there. We'll get to that. We'll get to that 911 Cup race. We'll track it down here in just a moment. We'll get to you. And then also in SPC, we talked about this. Eric Yurtsoy currently running second overall. He leads the class. Patrick James currently running third overall, about a half a minute in arrears. Here's that battle in 911 Cup. They're coming down into turn 1 right now, Brian. And it is the orange 64. And it looks like we may have had a change in position there.
It looks like Donald Anger is going to get ahead of Eugene Basha.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that moves them back, and actually Dwayne Moses is sitting up at the front of that field, and I think what we're seeing is Don Anger, Brian, who was leading those 3. He's just now crossing the start-finish line. We're going to try and track, but he's not in that group. The orange 64, that is Dwayne Moses, who had been running second on the previous lap, and then Eugene Basha in the pink 23. Don Anger trying to track down where the 50 car is.
Just went by the start-finish line last time by, but I did not see. Actually, now here comes the.
Or maybe we have a transponder issue because there was a white car in that group.
Yeah, there was a group of 4 of them.
Yeah, we'll pick it up.
I think they're coming out of turn 8 now. So here they come up the hill. That's Anger in that white 50 there.
All right, so there was a transponder issue that our timing and scoring didn't pick him up as he crossed the line that last time. But now that we say that, Brian, Don Anger has just come down the pit lane. That is his white Porsche right there. So he's going to take his 5-minute
that may be
pit
a strategy thing there. Yeah,
exactly. So that now, as we somewhat suspected, is going to move Dwayne Moses in the orange 64 911 SC up to the lead with Eugene Basha second. And Lee Lasberg in the 201 machine, Brian, I think we may have mentioned it earlier. He is currently shown as having only completed 5 laps.
Yeah. Tell you what, Greg, when you were talking about in the chat with the statement, that is actually Tamara Elbaga's wife that gave us that compliment.
Thank you.
He is just now coming down across the start-finish line now, headed down into turn 1. So he's the one with the pink, with the tiger's teeth, with the is that Roxy? Is that the paint scheme?
I think. Well, again, it's Rexy and Roxy. One's green, one's pink.
Yep. Well, the pink one's on the racetrack.
Right. Exactly. Well, neither of them is Rexy, and I think if we take a look here, we'll see what Tamer calls that car. Nickname for that car is Schwartz. And
Spaceballs reference.
You got it. Yeah. Right out of Spaceballs. May the Schwartz be with you. Absolutely.
She says if Tamer does really well today, he's going to get a home cooked meatloaf when he gets home. You know what? The heck with it. I'm going over there. I can pound me some meatloaf right now this weekend.
Did
I'm
you not?
hungry.
Did you not?
I
get
did.
it
I had quite a bit the other night.
They
Yes,
actually served Paul Amico, the fearless in the kitchen, actually served meatloaf and also this amazing curry chicken for the volunteer dinner on Friday evening. Definitely appreciate it. It was a great meal. Not that you shouldn't be making him meatloaf for the second time in 3 days, but just kind of giving you a little heads up.
Well, we don't know if he had meatloaf the other night.
That's
I think
true.
that was just for the
volunteers,
the worker side and the
Right.
volunteer side. But yes, I had quite a bit of the slices of meatloaf. I went back twice. I've always been a meatloaf fan, so if Tamara doesn't do well, I know where I'm going for dinner.
There's a Rocky Horror Picture Show reference there somewhere, but not going to use it. Brian, Pirelli and Porsche have been a winning combination around racing world for years. Pirelli is proud to bring that relationship to PCA Club Racing yet again in 2024. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. All right, as we are now as you can see there, Brian, just a little bit more. Oh, we've got a driver off in turn one. One of our 944s, it appears to be. Let's pick
That's
that
actually Alex. That's actually Alec Farragut.
out. We should check the chat, Brian. She might have been texting and driving
Yeah,
again.
maybe.
Might be
Let's
in
hope
the
not.
YouTube chat.
Right, maybe. Let's hope not.
All right, well, it looks
that
like
was definitely her. See if she comes out of turn 2 and turn 3. Yeah. So
looks like as she's gotten that car back underway.
Yeah.
And she was leading coming into this race, Brian, the SP2 class. Gary Stanberry, who started towards the tail end of the field, was a lap down. We'll see if he's made up some of that ground this time by.
Yeah, I tell you what, Greg, if we look down on pit road now, here comes, I believe this is Tamara coming down in pit road. I think you're seeing a lot of strategy points right now. This is where everybody's coming in with just under, just a little bit over an hour left in this race. Strategies are starting to play out here where they're coming in to do that 5-minute mandatory pit stop.
All right, let's go back to the action over here on track. And, Brian, I've been watching a number of very good passes coming down into turn one. We're going to see not quite up there, not quite close enough, but some very clean, very hard, very fast racing here at Summit Point this weekend. Here we go. Take a look as they come down. We've got one of our 911s, one of our Boxsters. And the Boxster a little bit later on the brakes. It's interesting to see that some of these racers coming down from the outside, not really pushing what we saw again during the sprint races yesterday. Is that there's so much grip on the outside of turn one right now. Of course, part of this racecraft is as you come down the inside, is try to keep that outside car from turning in as long as possible. But when you do, it's been pretty easy to get the car kind of straightened up and carry some additional speed over to turn 3 to counteract that passing attempt.
Yeah.
As we've got one of our cars rejoining now, coming off the pit lane and coming down that blend line and rejoining the action coming into turn 1.
Pretty good battle, really, coming out of turn 2, heading up into turn 3. That actually, Patrick James is a little bit ahead of Canagina. But then you had to get around some of those Boxsters right there. There you see, see Patrick James going up into turn 3. Tell you what, they got stuck in behind some traffic, and Canagina really was able to close the gap on Patrick James in that 41 machine.
Well, and interestingly enough, Lawson Wilder, who's in the 116 spec Boxster, the Red Bull livery car, as they came out of 2 coming to 3, he was one of those cars that they were coming up on. He pulled the car all the way driver's left offline to let those faster cars by. Now, typically, that is not necessarily something you want to see. You want to you maybe want to keep the car in line so that the drivers behind you can predict what you're going to be and where you're going to be, but they all made it work.
Right. As a driver, you want to be predictable, right? You want to be there. Let the car that's overtaken, let them, go offline. If you stay on your line, then you have a less chance of an incident happening at some point in time because they know where you're going to be, knowing what the line is here.
Yeah, and at the moment, Wilder still running second in class the 116 car, currently a couple seconds back from Alex Awe, who is your leader in Spec Boxster, and Lawson coming into this lap had about 6 seconds on Kevin Aberrant in third. But those racers in the overall scheme of things are running 13th, 15th, and 16th currently.
Yeah, and he's in that battle with Agena and Patrick James, and Agena was able to get by Patrick James. That time made that pass going out of turn 2 and coming up. So. So again, pretty good battles. Looks like we had maybe had one spin down there. Looks like we had the 59 Terrence Judge possibly spin there over down in
turn 8 or turn
6
7.
and 7. Yeah. Looks like he was able to continue, but definitely get a thing. Yeah, I think like I said, you're seeing some strategies here. You've got, like we talked about, Tamer sitting on pit road right now. So Crystal, no, it's not that he's off the track. He's taking his 5-minute break here.
Right.
So,
it's not that bad a strategy if you have a little off. It gives you a little time to collect your thoughts, kind of calm down.
Yeah.
Let the adrenaline levels drop just a little bit more, and go and head back out with a fresh eyes and a fresh look.
Yep.
All right, let's take a look, Brian. Coming down into turn 1 now. We've got a group of 4 cars there now. Coming down for a moment there, 3 wide. They come down into 2 wide. That is, I believe, one of our Spec Boxster battles. At least they're all Boxsters. We'll put it that way. I think it might be Farragut, Applebaum, Rubel, and Rodaver, the battle for 5th in Spec Boxster.
Yeah, that's exactly who it is, Greg. So Ryan Farragut in that orange and black machine. Just gone up over the hill. So
yeah, exactly. And they all seem to make it work there. Let's take a look as they but they drive down through the chute. Having known a racer who rolled his car down through the chute, I'm hesitant to say that.
Yeah. That's Tamer Elbaga now back on the racetrack after his 5-minute pit stop there. So he's back on track with just right around 56.5 minutes left to go in this first Enduro of the day. This is our orange group, so these drivers here still have quite a bit of time left. Here comes that battle now coming out of turn 10. It looks like maybe one of them is going to drop off there, Greg. Head down pit road to start taking their mandatory 5-minute pit stop here. In there, you've got Ryan Farragut there. There's Jordan Applebaum, and then you've got Donald Anger. He's also in that battle. Again, that's not for class, a battle in there, but you've got Anger going down. Ryan Farragut actually going to pretty much shut the door going down in turn 1. You see that cut right across the front nose of Donald Anger in that 50 machine. So trying to keep him behind him as they come out of turn 1 and 2 and start to head up to turn 3. I do believe Anger's going to get by Ryan Farragut with that, from that Boxster.
Yeah, and Brian, I believe that was Dan Rubel in the 771 machine. Yeah, that Dan Rubel, the blue, white, and red Boxster, who brought his car down the pit lane, now sitting 9th in class as Sam Halabi leapfrogs him. The 145 machine, at least for the moment, but I don't believe Halabi or any of the drivers up ahead have taken their pit stops yet. And and probably not a horrible idea to take the pit stop. I said, well, if you spin off, you get your head, but this also might provide a good opportunity. Rubel was sitting in back of a 4-car train of in-class cars, and with the traffic there, and there was more traffic ahead. If he can come out in some clear, with some clear track and put down a couple of flyers, he may have the ability to leapfrog those 3 Boxsters ahead of him.
Right. Yep.
As we see those racers now heading down the front straight.
Yep. And Greg, one of the other things to note here too is if you are sitting down in the paddock and you're watching the stream and you're watching this as well. And the audio, you really can't hear it because you can also turn your radio onto your FM dial, 88.7 and you can hear us as well.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
Again, if you're down in the paddock, or you're on the backside watching this and you really can't hear what's going on, you can turn your FM dial 88.7. You'll pick us up. So there's many ways to hear us here at the racetrack. Yeah, as we watch that, Ryan Farragut, Jordan Applebaum, and then a couple other cars going down through turn 5 and going through. You had mentioned a couple of them dropped off there, going to take that pit stop. Again, this is where strategy really becomes, key into a race like this. When do you take that mandatory stop? Is your car going to be better on a super long run where you can go a full 30 minutes? Do you take it in between there? Do you run it for a full 45 minutes, then pit for your 5 minutes, and then go another 40? Right, so you're splitting the time. I know you can't do math, but I can. But I knew how to do that. Right, so in a 90 minutes, if you do 2 45-minute stints with your 5 minutes there, does your car work better on a 40-minute run as opposed to running a full hour and then getting that pit stop? So. Right now, Franklin Prey, Eric Yortsoy, still your overall leaders here. They've completed 27 laps already, with right around at the 53-minute mark left to go here in this Enduro. Got a lot of dust and dirt kicking up coming out of turn 2. You can see there on your camera, Spencer's got it going there. So I think maybe we had in that Boxster battle that we saw earlier on with Ryan Farragut. It looks like that may be Jordan Applebaum in that 107 as well. And I think you also have, Jared Roadheaver in there as well. So I think those three were the ones who kind of came out of turn 2 right there and tried to get single file and ended up having to somebody putting some tires off to kick up some dirt. Greg, as you mentioned before, it hasn't rained here a lot, so kind of everything is pretty much dusty and dirty. So If you do get off, it's not like, it's not like you're not going to have a little bit of grip. Obviously you don't want to go off, but if you happen to do that, there's no slickness to it anymore. It's dried out from this morning. This morning, as you well know, even yesterday.
Hey, my feet are dry after
feet are finally
dried
dried yesterday.
Today. Yeah. As I was setting our cameramen up at 6:30 this morning. And look at that at our ticker, Brian. 12th through at least 20th, all spec Boxster racers.
Yeah.
All in very close proximity.
Yep.
And if we take a look, again, this, I think, a great battle going on. I think you mentioned it, Ryan Farragut in the black, green, and orange spec Boxster, Jared Roadhaver, the number 0, the white and blue machine. That's the battle for 5th in that class. And a little bit further ahead, right now, there's a big battle going on for the bronze for 3rd in spec Boxster between Kevin Aberrant and William Calcagno, the 409 and the 409 machine and the 56 car.
Yeah. Couple cars still on pit road taking that mandatory. Here comes Alex Farragut. She's now making that mandatory pit stop down on pit road, so she's going to be sitting in there for 5 minutes. And, Greg, you think about it, with the lap times that we're running here, especially in those classes, anywhere from a minute and 20 to a minute and, 27, 28 seconds. You sit for 5 minutes. Here comes Ryan Farragut now here. So what is this, an F1 race where they're going to have one team come in and do one and the other team come in and do it? Yeah, they're double stacking them.
You're going to have to wait till I take service.
Evidently, there's been no radio communication to say you can't do it for another 5 minutes until she's done.
Yeah, I was going to say this is like the smacks of McLaren back in 2007.
It is orange.
Yeah,
right?
no, there you go. Well, back then the cars were silver. I was going to say between Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, and we're gonna have to go talk to our turn 3 guys slapping our cameraman around over there.
No, yeah. I think that was Ken Hill. Ken Hill's taking some pictures down there. So Ken Hills was coming down off the tower there
gotcha.
and doing it. At first, I thought somebody had had slid into the base of that. I was like, I don't see anything out my window here.
So something that you didn't see on air. We had our cameraman over watching coming out of turn 2, going into turn 3. Had maybe something fell or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brian. All right. Well, good thing we have a good insurance plan. Let's do this, Brian. Let's give our cameraman at turn 3 a quick moment here to recoup himself and get his footing once again. We're going to take a quick little break. Going to thank some of our partners and sponsors that bring you all the action here this weekend and help bring all the action here this weekend from Summit Point Raceway in the 2024 Rock the Summit.
Craftsman's Auto Care is the newest offering from the legendary Matt Curry and his team from Curry's Auto Service. Comprised of ASE certified master technicians with an average of 30 years experience, Craftsman doesn't just raise but sets the bar in auto care, delivering the highest level of workmanship and customer satisfaction. With state-of-the-art facilities featuring the industry's newest and best technology, Craftsman's Auto Care services all makes of models including hybrid, HEV, and electric vehicles. They skillfully and expertly resolve the most difficult automotive repair challenges and back their work with the area's only 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty featuring digital car care inspections and show and tell service. Craftsman's Auto Care is the best team in the industry, delivering unparalleled quality with a say yes philosophy that exemplifies Matt Curry's unbridled passion for excellence. With 7 convenient Northern Virginia locations to serve you, visit them today and experience the art and science of auto care at its best. Book an appointment online at craftsmansautocare.com or call them at 833-CRAFTS-1. Craftsman's Auto Care welcomes all racers and thanks all event volunteers for this year's Rock the Summit 2024.
The Aaron Levitas Foundation was founded to prevent sexual assault by educating youth about boundaries, consent, and empathy using restorative approaches. Our mission is to reduce the incidence of sexual assault and help those who have experienced it heal. If we can stop sexual harassment early, we can reduce sexual assault and rape. To learn more about our many programs and initiatives, please visit our website at aaronlevitas.org. The Aaron Levitas Foundation is honored to be the charity partner for this year's Rock the Summit PCA Founders Region Club Race. We thank all the racers and volunteers for helping support our cause. Please check out our auction in person or online by scanning the QR code. All monies raised help support our mission.
And we are back here at Summit Point Motorsports Park. I tell you what, Greg, I've been keeping an eye on this Sam Mamano and this Terrence Judge battle. They just went up over turn 3. They're going to come down the chute in turn 4. Those two have been stuck nose to tail pretty much the last couple laps. Again, not for a battle in class. Sam Mamano in the I and Terrence Judge in the H. But I'll tell you what, Terrence Judge is pushing the issue, trying to get by Sam Mamano in that number 4 machine, doing everything he possibly can to get completely around them. Just can't get that maneuver to work.
Attention in the paddock. Charles Moore, can you please come to classroom? I believe it's classroom 1. It's the classroom on the end of the building here, ASAP, regarding your auction item. Unfortunately, we're having a little trouble getting a hold of you. Again, Charles Moore, please go to the classrooms regarding your the auction item that you won.
And Greg, I do believe you can see there on your camera we have one car that has spun around and got stuck in the gravel trap. That is actually the 66 machine. That is Gary Stanberry. So we'll have to see if he can get through there. If not, I'd figure out get him towed out of there. But he's kind of in an awkward position right now. You can see him sitting over to the right on there. As we've gotten a lot of cars coming down pit road for their 5-minute mandatory pit stop as well. So a lot of action on pit road going on right now. Plus you've got Gary Stanberry sitting there in that gravel in 10. So we'll look to get him, hopefully get a hot pull. Here comes our EV workers now going over there to try to get him. But like I said, sitting in an awkward position, Greg, that's going to be tough to get that car pulled out. He's going to have to really turn the tires there. I don't believe that.
Or literally drag the back end of the car around.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, because he is very close to that wall over there. All right. Let's.
Alex Farragut back out on the racetrack again. So hopefully she put her phone away. So But here comes that coming out of turn 10, Spencer. Let's pick them up here. Here comes actually probably right through here, going through the incident right now. That's that Mamano and that Terrence Judge. And I tell you what, it has been super, super hard for Terrence Judge to get around Sam Mamano in that Ford machine. Again, we're still just under, coming right up at 44 minutes left to go in this race. So we're a little bit below halfway right now. So again, we've got that waving yellow down in 10. So guys got to get kind of slowed down there a little bit until they get past that incident. And then they go. Here comes Jordan Applebaum. Looks like he's done his 5-minute mandatory pit stop. So he's back out on the track right now. He's in that 107 in that spec Boxster. So,
hey, Brian, got word from the Aaron Levitas Foundation. Of course, we just had their ad up here for a few moments ago. A couple things. One, of course, still accepting donations. And if you go to aaronlevitas.org/PCA, you can donate to the cause. As of last night, in conjunction with this event, had raised over $63,000, almost $64,000, and we're on course to meet the goal, which I believe is $75,000 this weekend. When we came into yesterday morning, I think we were at $36,000.
Yeah,
so we're able to double the intake just over the course of the day.
Yep, absolutely. So again, a lot of cars coming down pit road right now. Spencer, let's pick up. Yeah, there you can see it. Almost half this field, it seems like, is on pit road, taking their 5-minute mandatory pit stop there. So again, a lot of cars getting it done here. And this goes back to what I was talking about, Greg. Do you set your car up to run for a good solid 45 minutes, then you come in and you pit so that your car does a complete just another 40-minute run? During that 5 minutes, make a few changes here and there as we go through the race. Again, do believe Franklin Prey has not made his pit stop yet either. Going through there, I think Eric Yortsoy may be sitting on pit road now back there. So we got one car spun around. That's actually Alex Franklin has spun again down in turn one. Alex Farragut, sorry, spun around down in turn number one. She's going to get that machine back in. So again, just coming off that pit stop, tires may not have been up to the temperature. When you sit down there for 5 minutes, what ends up happening, they tend to cool off, and so you end up spinning down into turn one sometime. But she has gotten that machine back up, getting ready to head up out of turn 3 now. There she goes right now, up over the hill, back down. So again, nothing really serious there. Looks like, Greg, we've got that Stanberry machine out of turn 10. They're still working to try to get it to turn around a little bit. Now he's got to figure out himself to turn around.
And you can kind of see it there on the right-hand side of your screen. I knew that pit lane camera was going to come in handy. And now it is back underway. You can see they were able to get it into the grass, and they're going to come around the backside of the gravel trap, which is pretty much the only way to rejoin.
Really nowhere for him to go. He went back counter race there on the grass far right. It looks like he's trying to get back in there. There you can see him. He's sitting right there trying to find a position to get back into the race, but it's going to have to be quickly as there are cars coming through there. So again, he has now re-entered. So again, Stanberry in that 66 machine.
Yeah, and did it, Brian, I should mention, with the assistance of our great quarter marshals that we have here with PCA Potomac, is they gave him the signal when he should go and rejoin, and they were able to put him back on traffic, back on point. Looks like we just saw rejoining the action here, Brian, was one, I believe.
It's Kenagina right there.
Kenagina, exactly, in the blue and white Porsche 944. He has rejoined, and I believe we'll take a look. I think we've got Cal Zaretta. We'll have to see if he's actually come in for a pit stop now, because we're showing him as being a lap down in the 155 car.
Yeah, we've got so many cars back there. I'm not really It is tough to see. We'll have to figure it out. But yeah, I think so. Like I said, the only couple drivers that have not made a pit stop yet, based off looking at time and scoring, Franklin Prey in that 777, Ryan McGrath in that 77. I think Sam Mamano may be coming down pit road or in pit road now. I'm showing him a lap down. He was right up front along with Terrence Judge. Those two were battling basically for the last 10, 15 laps, kind of nose to tail, trying to figure out how to get around each other.
There we go. And we've got the orange machine rejoining. I believe that's Dwayne Moses in the number 64 911 Cup car. He completes his pit stop. He is now heading down towards turn number 1. Yeah, and indeed, I think we've got Cal Zaretta on the pit lane right now. And that's a battle we want to take a look at, because when Ken Agina rejoined, Brian, I have it here on the timing and scoring. Agina rejoined in 12th position overall. And again, we've been looking at Cal Zaretta and Agina, the two fastest drivers in SP3 all weekend.
Looks like we're getting a call for Jared Rodever to black flag there, Greg. So it looks like he's going to have to come back down pit road. Have to see. There goes Eric Yortsoy in that 321 machine. So his 5-minute mandatory stop is now completed and official. So it looks like we are going to give a black flag to the 0 there, Jared Rodever. So again, remember, when these cars come off of pit road, they have to take that blend line. And when we talk about that blend line, here at Summit Point, there's 2 crossover roads that go back all the way over to turn 3. Once they get back down to that second crossover, that's when they can start to blend back in with the racing traffic, provided there is not a group of people. And we're going to go 3 wide coming down into turn 1 right now. As one of our cars just came off pit road, and I believe that is the Moses Machine 64. Dwayne Moses going to take that 3 wide to make that pass to try to not get held up. So coming out of turn number 2 and number 3, there you go. That is Dwayne Moses. He's actually putting another lap on. I believe that is going to be Ryan Farragut in that 29. Here comes the 41 off of pit road right now. That's Patrick James. He had dropped all the way down to 11th. So again, Patrick James back on the racetrack after his 5 minutes. Again, we'll have to see, when does Franklin Prey in that 777 pit? We should be seeing the 0 coming on pit lane this time by. And Greg, you were talking about Mark Calzaretta. He is sitting on pit road right now.
Right.
Be interesting to see if I had an interesting conversation with him last night, right after dinner, with him and Jared Odrick. I tell you what, it'd be interesting to see if he's doing the second Enduro as well, and whether or not there are 2 drivers in those. There you can see on the pit lane, there is the 0 machine going out, and now we're going to have Mark Calzaretta coming off pit road, and they send the 0 out. It looks like, I think, Greg, this is what we were talking about, a product of you had to come back down pit road. I think the 0 didn't complete his 5-minute mandatory stop within that 5 minutes.
And that's why he was black flagged.
And they only brought him down for a quick second. So
he likely he basically left the pit stall a couple seconds early.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ran an endurance race once, a very similar type of rule set for the pit stops, and they didn't have a rule where you had to come back in and complete your pit stop, but you would basically be assigned a time penalty.
Lose that time penalty of how long you had.
Exactly, and I was 2 seconds short on my pit stop and ended up losing a position on track because of it.
Again, I'm seeing pretty much, Greg, everybody has made their mandatory. The only one I'm seeing right now, based off of the number of laps, is Franklin Prey.
Right, yeah, exactly.
He has not come down pit road, so maybe his strategy is to build up as many laps lead as he can.
Right.
You're going to lose, on average, probably 3 laps in the pits. All right,
Right.
that's going to be the average.
And exactly. And at the moment, he is only a lap up on Ryan McGrath.
Yeah.
McGrath with 39 laps complete, Franklin Prey with 40 laps complete. So I'm sure he wants to at least get one more in the bag, and we'll try and track the difference, the time difference between them. And, I'll break out my iPhone stopwatch, I guess. Because our timing and scoring system, I mean, it will show that the McGrath, for example, and you'll see it on our ticker as well. I think it shows that he shows as 1 lap down. We can't really judge the time. Obviously, you're looking for a delta of more than 1:19.
Yeah. McGrath is just now going down into turn 1, and as a matter of fact, here
we
comes
go.
Franklin Prey in that 7-7 negative pit stop.
All right, so just a little bit less than 2 laps.
Yep.
As Prey came onto the pit lane, as you mentioned, McGrath was going down into turn 1.
Just now coming up and hitting up into turn 3 right now. So,
all right, so it's probably somewhere along the lines of about 1:50, I would think.
Yeah.
Between the two that he's got. So at the 1:50 is a lot less than 5 minutes. We'll have to see how this plays out.
Yeah. One car's been on and off of pit road for quite some time here. That's the 271 machine. That looks like that is
Patty Moscone and Valley sharing that car. That's the yellow Porsche 944 S2 running in the SP3 class.
Yeah, that car's been off and on pit road a couple times now. So
yeah, and should mention that's the same class that Agina and Calzaretta are on. That 271 car currently running 5th in that class. So Brian, let's do this quickly as we're now a little bit more. Or just a little bit less than 2/3 of the way complete with this race. Let me go and we'll kind of break things down by class here. In Spec Boxster, Kevin Aberrant is your leader with Sam Halabi second, Lawson Wilder third. Alex Awe, who was leading Spec Boxster early on, Brian, he's just leapfrogged Lawson Wilder. He is now up to third, so move Wilder back to fourth. William Calcagno running in fifth. In SP3, it's Agina and Calzaretta, and now an 8.5 second gap between them. So Calzaretta's actually made up some time on Agina from before when the pit stop cycle started. In SP2, Alex Farragut continues to hold an advantage. Gary Stanberry, though, appears to be 5 laps down at this point.
He was actually stuck in the turn 10 gravel.
Well, exactly. So that explains that. Yep. In H stock, Ryan McGrath, your leader over Terrence Judge. Currently 4 laps up. Mark Salvador in the 667 machine, as we mentioned. He took the car back to the paddock early. He has not returned, so only 3 laps in the books for him. Frank Osborne is our sole ME1 driver in his 2004 Boxster. In 911 Cup, it's Moses, then Eugene Basha, and then Donald Anger. And I think we talked about Anger having been the first one of that group to pit in.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we thought, well, maybe he could get some open track. It hasn't played out that way. He's sitting third. Lee Lasberg is fourth. In I stock, Franklin Prey, who is on the pit lane, taking his service, is your leader over Sam Amano. 3 laps difference there. That's for I stock. Jordan Simon, your leader in F stock over Dave Nisbaum. Nisbaum having some issues in the 06 machine. He's 12 laps down. And then in SPC, that battle between Yortsoy and Patrick James. Yortsoy continues to lead that field, currently sitting 4th overall.
We'll have to see as we go down. There goes Terrence Judge off of pit road as well. He just left.
The 59 H-Stock Porsche 964. So he's going to rejoin still second place in H-Stock, but he's 3 laps down from Ryan McGrath.
Yeah. And he had that battle with Sam Amano there early on, talking about Terrence Judge. And now Mamano's got 1 car in between him and Sam Amano again. And that's actually Dwayne Moses right there. Mamano and Judge basically, I think, came down on pit road pretty much the same time. A little bit of a gap between them, but then they then they got separated out. So we'll see how this all plays out. But again, Franklin Prey still sitting in second place overall. As Greg mentioned, your iStock leader. But I tell you what, Greg, he's looking for the overall win here. And, with just about 29 and a half minutes left to go, I think his strategy may play out. And that was go out and get as fast as laps as you can. Come in, do your 5 minutes, and then go back out and try to dominate the end of this race again.
All right, so Brian, are you about to hit the track without coverage for your car? Buy HPDE insurance in minutes at LockedInMotorsports.com. Whether you drive a 911 or a Boxster, protect your car against physical damage during HPDE and track day events with HPDE insurance from Locked In Motorsports, administered by Locked In Affinity. Insure your Porsche today at LockedInMotorsports.com.
See, I think we've got Ryan McGrath is on pit road now. So I think our overall leader currently right now is Sam Hallenby in that 145 machine in his box.
Yeah, I didn't think that McGrath had actually come down the pit lane for service until now. As we were looking to see whether Franklin Prey was going to McGrath, who had been, I think, down as far as like 5th or 6th. I didn't think that. I thought he was going to be one of the last racers to take that service.
Yep.
And Halabi, who is currently your leader in Spec Boxster. Oh, and we've got, Brian, a local caution down at turn 5. And as we could tell from the dust and the dirt there, I think somebody went a little wide coming down through the chute. And we're going to get the car number that had the issue there in just a moment. And Brian, what we're hearing is that the 64 machine of Dwayne Moses, the 911 Cup racer, had spun his car, and that car is now over by the turn 7 flag stand. The other car involved was the 3-1 machine. And trying to track here the 3-1 car. That is the machine that is being shared right now by Harrison and Thomas. I'm not sure which driver is behind the wheel of that car. Anthony Thomas and Martin Harrison sharing that machine. That's a 1987, I believe, Porsche 951. And apparently, again, there was some contact between the two. The 31 has continued on. The 64 now appears that its race is now complete.
Yeah. Yeah, so another tough break there for Morgan, for Moses, in that, or Dwayne Moses in that 64 machine. Morgan Moses, an offensive lineman for.
Are you telling me that we should be introducing him to Jared Odrick?
Yeah.
Let them.
Morgan Moses is an offensive lineman in the NFL. That was the first reference that came to mind. Pushing the 31 out of the way with his 64 car. I was like, all I can think of offensive lineman.
They're doing drills right now down there. Yeah, exactly.
And again, Dwayne Moses, another driver that potentially could be competing in the other race. So, in our next group in the yellow.
Yeah, so getting some more word on the 64 machine, Brian. Apparently with that contact, it was to the right rear of the 64 machine, has a flat tire. So, again, not going to be continuing on, as we have now just about 25 minutes remaining here in this 90-minute endurance race.
And, Greg, I tell you what, when we look at this endurance race based off timing and scoring, right now our two leaders are who were leading this race pretty much at the start, the onset, is that 777 of Franklin Prey and Eric Yortsoy in that 321 in that game.
Brian, we didn't get enough of it last night. Apparently, Connie Tanaka, she's passed away at age 119. At age 119, at 119 years old. I don't know how that happened, but I'm Greg Ginsburg. He's Brian Donati.
Yeah.
Neither of us are Kane Tanaka.
Nope.
And we've got Spencer Gaynor, right? Oh, no, don't bring that back up again.
Again.
There we go again. Oh, well. Anyway, Brian, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. Going to thank some of our partners and sponsors. We'll find out exactly how Kane Tanaka left us. And we'll be back in just a few moments here from Summit Point Raceway, where you're watching one of our first of 2 endurance races here today at the 2024 Rock the Summit.
Fitzwater and Dean PLC is an accounting firm which dates back to 1954. We're proud that a number of clients who began with us over 50 years ago remain with us today, and we're equally proud that our business constantly grows with new clients. Our goal with all of our clients is to serve them for the next 50 years because we value relationships. We view every client relationship as a partnership and recognize that our success is a result of our clients' successes. Fitzwater and Dean are proud to be the inaugural gold level sponsor directly supporting the launch of live streaming for PCA Club Racing, a first in the nation, at this year's Rock the Summit 2024. We want to thank all of the racers, crew, their families, volunteers, and spectators, both at the track and now with live streaming, watching from anywhere in the world.
Radial Tire Company is your trusted provider of high-quality, new tires, custom aftermarket wheels, and tire repair and maintenance services. We are dedicated to giving you the very best tire experience, focusing on upfront and honest quotes, timely response to issues, and quality products and parts. Since 1976, Radial Tire Company has provided the Washington, D.C. area, including Bethesda, Arlington, Washington, and surrounding areas with quality tires and the most exemplary service. We have earned a reputation as the premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tire and wheel applications, stocking tires from all top manufacturers for whatever you drive, from small economy cars to SUVs and trucks. Our mission is to assist you in getting the most out of your tires and car. For more information, visit radialtirecompany.com or call them at 301-585-2740. Radial Tire Company is pleased to provide gold-level sponsorship to this year's Rock the Summit 2024. Thank you to all the volunteers who make this year's event such a success.
All right, and we are back right here at Summit Point for our Orange Enduro at Rock the Summit 2024. That's where we are. Franklin Prey still leading over Eric Yortsoy, and then Eric McGrath in that H-stock class. And then you've got Ken Agina and Mark Calzaretta, Greg. And I tell you what, that's exactly how this race started out. So again, the plan here with everybody. There it is. I'm Brian Donati. That's Greg Ginsburg. We got it up there. We got it going now. Greg
all by hand.
Greg was determined to get that thing ready to go. So not sure what happened with the other one. And Greg, we have one car that is spinning going down into turn number 1, just off the camera angle. You can see it right there.
Yeah, we'll wait for the dust to clear. It's actually just to the right of our camera right now. We'll try and get the number in just a moment. It looks like they may have a portion of the car in the gravel. We'll hopefully. I think they're just waiting for all the traffic to go by. We'll see if we can pick up the number there in just a moment. Or is it stuck, Brian? Because
it looks like it looks like it is stuck, and I think that was just a product of there was 3 or 4 cars right there going down into turn 1. And again, we'll get the number on it here in momentarily. He's starting to pull out now. As a matter of fact, Greg, I think that is actually Ryan McGrath.
Oh, wow.
In the 77. So again, I'll confirm. Looks like there was just a product that just missed the corner.
Going
in. I don't think it was
cold
anything
tires
more.
or cold brakes, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, you come in, you sit for 5 minutes. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, those brake pads cool down. You don't have the ability. You have to look at it like when you start a race and you've got those very cold brake pads. The threshold of what it takes to basically slow the car down is going to be a lot longer.
Yep.
So.
And that is confirmed. That was Ryan McGrath in the 77 machine that went down and spun down in turn 7. He has continued on, so he is now up through turn 3 again, trying to get all the stuff off there. So again, another product, as you just said, right? Brakes are still cold after 1 or 2 laps, but I think it was more of a product of just there was cars on the driver's right of him trying to make that pass at the same time,
right.
And he just missed the corner and thought, I'm not making this. So try to get on the brakes as hard as you can.
Yeah, exactly. And, Brian, like I said, it could be brakes, it could be tires, which reminds us that when you pack up from the raceway and head home on the highway, remember that the engineering excellence Michelin strives for in racing is applicable to our passenger and light truck tires, too. Michelin is proud to continue its national sponsorship of the Porsche Club of America and Club Racing. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tire. Now I need to go find that Hawk Performance ad.
There you go, right? Because Brian probably could use it. Here you see him coming up out of turn 8. I guarantee he's going to make his way down pit road because he went the whole back half of this track pretty slow. So
yeah, I mean, we saw it looked like the rear end might have actually gotten into the gravel trap over there based on how much dust and dirt we saw through the air, Brian. And there may be a couple pounds of gravel that need to be need to be dug out from the backside of the car.
I don't think he really got into the gravel. I think what he did was he ended up, that access road that goes off to the left. He kind of spun through there and then ended up getting into the grass part. I don't think he really got to the gravel. He's making the move over to the driver's right, so his day's done. Yep.
Yeah, so he's going to take that car back to the paddock, and his race ends about 20 minutes early.
Yeah. So again, one of our front leaders there, Ryan McGrath, in that 77 machine, calling it a day with roughly around 18 and a half minutes left to go in this race. So again, tough way to end that as you're running up front.
All right, Brian, is the official window tint and ceramic coating partner of PCA Club Racing. Expel is ready to protect you on and off the track. Are you tired of the difficulty of cleaning track rubber off your Porsche, or are you just looking for an easier and faster way to clean your car? Look no further than Expel Fusion Plus Ceramic Coating. This nano ceramic coating is designed to give you ease of maintenance and add depth, gloss, and a candy-coated shine. To find an installer or to learn more about Expel window tint and ceramic coating, go to Expel, that's XPEL.com. All right, so as we check in with the field here, Franklin Prey, Brian has moved up back to the top of the leaderboard and leads the I-Stock class. Sam Amano running second in class, 6th overall. And the fight that we saw early on between Eric Yortsoy and also Patrick James in the SPC class, not such a fight any longer. They had been running second and third overall, but we have our two SP3 racers, Cal Zaretta and Agena, now taking over third and fourth, splitting up those two SPC racers.
Yeah.
And it is Cal Zaretta who's got the measure of Ken Agena at the moment, but I think we need to check back in here, Brian, because these two Porsche, the 968 and the 944, they were only about 5 car lengths apart, and there they are coming up through turn 8 and heading under the bridge right at the back of this big group right here. And this is pretty much how we saw them during both sprint races yesterday,
right.
Typically separated by no more than a couple car lengths. Agena, though, great move. He's got some speed on the racers ahead of him. He's going to try and put some of these spec Boxsters between he and probably that was Mark Calzaretta going to try and put some of the spec Boxsters between he and Ken Agena.
Well, he's going to be very unsuccessful at that because Ken Agena really got around them just as well as they come out of turn 2 now. You're going to see Ken Agena is going to be right on that back bumper of Mark Calzaretta in that SP3 machine. I tell you what, Greg, they're going to come up on some other traffic later on down when we get down to the chute and down into turn 5. So it's going to be interesting to see where does Ken Agena look to set up Mark Calzaretta to make that pass, or can Mark Calzaretta get through turn 5 a little bit better than Agena?
Well, and what we saw yesterday during both races is out-of-class traffic affected their race considerably. And not that it affected the race, it affected how the racers plan their strategy in the last laps of their race. And it looks like this is going to come out again as well, as we've got a car that's gone off at turn 5. Brian, it looked like it went wide, drivers left coming out of the chute out of turn 4, and then came across the track. Came drivers right. We'll try and get the car number on that car in just a moment.
There was one of the white Porsches. I'm not sure if that was Terrence Judge or not. It looked like his machine going down there, but we'll have to see.
And they do still have a local caution over there. We'll get the number here in just a moment. And that is the 59 machine, as you mentioned, Brian, Terrence Judge, who at the time was leading the H-Stock class, and I don't believe he's leading it any longer, Brian. Let's take a look in H-Stock. Ryan McGrath 3 laps down.
Yeah,
so we'll see here if McGrath can move around Terrence Judge, but he's got about 4 minutes that he's got to.
McGrath has made the right-hand turn. His day.
His day is done.
So his day is done. So.
All right. And this has not been the day for H-Stock, because that's right. McGrath just pitted in. We saw that a few moments ago. Mark Salvador only completed 3 laps. And we're getting word now that Terrence Judge, his race is now done as well, as he has brought his car onto the island there by turn 7.
Him and Dwayne Moses with cars over there on the island. That's what we call the island there, back behind the Turn Tubbs tower there, or Turn Tubbs flag station there. Again, unfortunately today we moved that camera to pit road so we could show you when cars make the pit, but normally we have it there.
Brian, I'm going to refer to it now as the Island of Misfit Toys.
That's where it seems every car that spins off or somewhere goes to the island, right? We call it the island.
Well, Brian, as they're down there and as they have a little bit of time to relax and watch some racing, we should talk about Richard Kessler, who in 1984 went and founded Kessler Collection Hotels, which is a hospitality brand that owns, develops, and manages specialty hotels, restaurants, and retail that treats guests to the bohemian lifestyle and unique experiences with a twist. If you want to find out more about Kessler Collection Hotels, visit them at www.kesslercollection.com. See, I have a way to tie these into anything that happens on track, Brian.
So again, Alex Farragut having more challenges, Greg. Spinning down in turn 5. Looks like she's continued. She's just now coming out of turn 10, but was very mindful to get back in, as that was the call on the radio, that she waited until she got back in there. So our overall leader now, Franklin Prey, is actually going to be coming up on her as she heads down into turn 1. But again, having a rough go at it here, as I believe that may have been her second or third spin going down in there.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been a difficult morning for her. Let's take a look now, Brian, as they come down into turn 1. Again, we're going to check in with Mark Calzaretta in the number 155 Porsche 968, the white and blue and blue machine. And then Kennedy, actually, it's more of a white, blue, and orange machine, kind of a Gulf liveried machine. And then Kennedy, who's in the white and blue number 5 machine, as they are now on their way heading through turn 3. Up towards the chute. And this battle starting to actually close down a little bit that last time by, Brian, as Gina, I believe, was picked up a couple tenths on the 155 machine ahead.
Yeah, they're just now going through turn 5 now, getting ready to come on the backside there. And you're right, Gina closing the gap there. But again, they're going to come up on some other lap traffic as well. Greg, I was looking in the chat room there, and we mentioned the island over there, and Tamriel Baca's wife basically said, I wish I was on the island as well, rather than watching him go around 9,000 miles per hour. So we will make sure that Tamara calls you the minute he's done.
All right, here comes that battle between Calzaretta and Agina coming out of turn 10. And again now, Brian, with just a touch over 10 minutes remaining in this 90-minute race, we've got Agina is now closed within, about a car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths as they head under braking. And now Agina moving over to the inside to get around the Farragut machine, gets that done, and maybe lost maybe a car length or 2 in that transaction. So he's going to have to try and gain that back. As we said, this out-of-class traffic and how those 2 racers deal with it is going to complicate this race probably all the way to the checkered flag.
Yeah, and Greg, you've got to imagine at 10 and a half minutes left to go in this race, so a good 35 and a half minutes that they've been running here. I got to tell you, the tires are starting to really, really go away if they're not gone already, right? Brakes are starting to wear down. I'm sure when these drivers are pressing on that brake pedal, it's going a little bit further than they want to right now. So they're having to really, and we talked about this yesterday in the sprint race, back up the corner as much as possible. It looks like we may have had another one that hit that dirt patch over there coming up out of turn 8 and headed up. That's going to be right in front of that battle we were talking about with Canagina and Mark Calzaretta. So again, tires are really, really going away. If not, they're gone already. These guys are just trying to make sure that they manage the equipment the best they can to finish this race. Check. We're not sure. Looks like Jared Rodever was the one that we saw going off there at turn 9, coming up over the hill.
Attention in the paddock. Attention in the paddock. This is the first call to the grid for our yellow group endurance racers. Please start bringing your car to the grid. Yellow group endurance racers, this is your first call to the grid.
Sorry, looking at the chat as you made. Crystal said she doesn't want those bald tires back in the garage when he's done. We'll make sure he keeps them here.
Well, Crystal,
we'll keep keeping the trailer.
Well, Crystal, let me tell you something. A household name in U.S. racing for nearly 25 years, Toyo Tires has forged a reputation for winning, performance, and consistency. From the company's legendary Proxys RA1 to the two-groove Proxys RR, they have a history of getting drivers to the winner's circle. We thank them for their support of Porsche Club of America through Club Racing and the High Performance Driver Education Program. Be sure to check out their contingency program if you race SP1 or Spec Boxster. So I think this is something you should be looking at, Crystal. To learn more about the full line of Toyo Tires, visit www.toyotires.com.
Tell you what, Spencer, let's go back to turn 1 real quick because I want to pick up this lead in Spec Boxster, and that is the 79 of Alex Awe and then the 116 of Lawson Wilder. They're just now going in to turn 1. They've got Eric Yortsoy in between them as they head down there, but that is under 2.4 seconds right now, Greg, as it was almost 5 seconds before.
Yeah.
Right. So, again, those two drivers cutting that deficit pretty good. So, you'll have to wait to see here at the end of this race. Again, 7 minutes left to go.
That is so dramatic, Brian, as our racers come out of turn 2 towards turn 3 with that big cloud of dust and dirt in the air. Remember, just close your eyes and drive right through.
Yeah, right, exactly, right?
Exactly. We have driver. There's a right at the apex of turn 2. There is a huge dirt.
It's a flat spot, right?
Yeah.
It's
no more grass there because everybody uses it to straighten the car out.
Yeah. So again, that Spec Boxster battle. Let's see next time they come by here whether or not that gap closes. Like I said, 2.4, but within a lap and a half before that, it was almost 5 seconds. So they've closed that gap. Here they come now. They're coming down the start-finish line now. There goes the 79 of Alex Awe. There you go. And there's Lawson Wilder right there in the 116. It's still about 2.5 seconds. So we'll have to see, as now that it's an open track.
Yeah, and Ryan, when you say it's still about 2.5 seconds, that is because both racers turned in a 1 minute 26.949 on that last lap. They ran literally the exact same lap time, so nothing gained, nothing lost.
Right
there for either one of those racers.
Yeah, so pretty much even themselves out.
Yeah, just got word, Brian, that Alex Farragut is continuing to have a few issues. Put a couple wheels off on the outside of turn number 1. this is what you get for texting and driving.
Becoming a dirt racer.
That's right.
At an asphalt race, I guess. Well, we've seen that before.
Yeah. There. And then there's the Farragut Porsche coming up the hill there. She's had. I got to hand it to her. She's had some very quick recovery. She hasn't let it get under her skin.
Yeah.
Here and again, in many cases, as we've had her go around a couple times, always giving deference to the corner workers and rejoining on point. They've been very happy with her composure here so
Greg,
far
we
today.
are just now under the 5-minute mark of this race here. So, again, you got to get everything you can out of this car as much as you can. And, again, as I said, fuel has burned off. Tires are completely gone, right? It's just a matter of doing everything you can to take care of what you have left to get to the end of this 90-minute enduro race as we go. I was watching again that Mark Calzaretta and Canagina race going on when they came by when we were talking about 229 there, spinning there. It's opened up now by about 5 or 6 car lengths. But Greg, here's one thing to remember. There goes our overall leader of Franklin Prey, completing his 59th lap along, and now you've got, I believe it is Eric Yortsoy and Mark Calzaretta and Canagina. They're a lap down. So Franklin Prey is technically on a lap by himself for this overall lead. So if Calzaretta and Agina pass our overall leader at some point within the next 5 minutes, Franklin Prey still will be the overall leader.
Attention in the paddock. Attention the paddock. Second call to the grid for our yellow group endurance racers. Please head to the grid. Your race starting in a few moments. Yellow group racers, please start heading to the grid. You are scheduled to be on track in 10 minutes.
So again, coming up on that 3-minute mark, Greg, and as I was saying right before you made that, which I didn't recognize this, but Franklin Prey and now even Eric Yortsoy, but he's 30 seconds behind Franklin Prey in that 777. But Calzaretta and Agina, they were right behind our leader. Here they come now out of turn number 10. There you see Calzaretta and Agina and Franklin Prey right there in front. So again, that will put them on the lead lap, but basically a minute and a half behind.
Right. Now, are they on the lead lap? I think they're one. I think
they are one lap down
right.
to Franklin Prey. So right now,
exactly.
Franklin Prey and Eric Yortsoy. Eric Yortsoy's about 30 seconds behind right now, so he should be coming probably in the backside. As a matter of fact, here he comes now out of turn 10 yeah. Going down the start-finish line. So he is actually 31 seconds behind, but then Calzaretta and Agina, they are actually a full lap behind.
Yeah, and there's coming through turn 1 all by himself. That's Eric Yortsoy in that white with blue. 321 Cayman S, currently running second overall, leading the SPC field. Patrick James, fifth overall at the moment, second in SPC. He's got the 2 SP3 racers ahead of him.
Yep. Yeah. Again, I don't think they're going to be able to catch him because, again, they're at the end of this, they're just trying to battle against each other there for that SPC. Or SP3, sorry.
Right.
But I think as we get to the end of this, like I said, a lot of these drivers are just trying to be able to complete as many laps as they can at this point to take care of their stuff.
And nice little battle unfolding here with a minute and a half left. Inspect Boxster, Brian. Between Jordan Applebaum and Ryan Farragut. They're heading into turn 1 right now. The black 107, the green, orange, and black 291 of Farragut. They are all within, I think, a half second of one another here. Again, with almost no time remaining as our leader now coming onto the front straight to get the one to go.
Yeah, next time by he comes through. I don't believe he's on the front straight yet. I think the next time he comes by, he's going to get the one to go.
And here he comes right now. I think this is him, Brian, out of turn 10.
Nope, not yet.
Nope, you're right.
Nope, not yet. I think he's still on the backside. He is actually right in front of Mark Calzaretta or Calzaretta and nope. Yeah, the leader's just now coming up underneath the bridge, so he'll be
There we
coming out
go.
of turn 10 here momentarily. He's got the black with the
There
red
he is.
nose there. He's
Yeah.
going to be behind the
Second
pink
car in
he's
line.
behind the pink car. Yeah, he's going to be the second one in line there.
Yeah.
So Calzaretta and Agina, they're starting to catch him, but again, one lap to go right here.
There you go. 10 turns, 2 miles remain for our leader, Franklin Prey, Brian. And talk about running the table. He picked up 2 sprint wins yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's looking to get this 90-minute endurance race under his belt as well.
Yeah, able to pull away from that Calzaretta and Agina, battle, but now gets stuck in hard into turn 3 behind one of the slower cars that he's coming up on, one of the Martinis there. Hard in the brakes in turn 3. That's going to allow them to get back. But again, not for position really at that point. Franklin Prey just trying to get through this race.
Attention in the paddock. Final call to the grid for our yellow group racers. You're going to be on track in just a few moments. Yellow group racers, please head to the grid. Your race is next. This is your final call.
Again, waiting for Franklin Prey to come up out of turn number 8 and up the hill under the bridge. There he is right there.
And right behind him, Brian, is that battle for the win in SP3. Mark Calzaretta leading Ken Agina, both getting a great tow off of Franklin Prey as they come out of turn 10 and taking the overall win. Winning iStock will be Franklin Prey. Calzaretta will take the win over Ken Agina there in the SP3 battle.
Here comes that Jordan Applebaum and that Ryan Farragut battle that you were talking about earlier. It looks like Applebaum's going to finish ahead of Ryan Farragut.
So Applebaum in the 107 spec Boxster. He'll finish 15th overall. Farragut 16th. And in class, they will finish up 6th and 7th as our racers continue to come through. We're going to track Alex Awe in the number 79 machine, who I don't think has taken the checkered flag yet.
No, I don't believe he has.
He was your leader in Spec Boxster with, at the time our final lap started, with about 5 seconds
there
on
he is
Lawson.
there.
And there you go. The 79 machine of Awe crosses the line, takes the win in Spec Boxster, 5.5 seconds ahead of Lawson Wilder, who will finish in second. The number 409 machine of Kevin Aberrant is coming down the front straight now, I believe. We'll see Aberrant finish in third with Tamer Albaga finishing in fourth, just off the podium. In SP3, we talked about Calzaretta and Agina. Connor Henderson will finish third, 3 laps down. In SP2, Alex Farragut takes the win over Gary Stanberry. Again, Stanberry finishing 8 laps back. Unfortunately, had his little rest over in the turn 10 gravel trap, making up for those laps, actually finishing 7 laps down as Stanberry crosses the line. In H-Stock, Terrence Judge takes the win by 3 laps over Ryan McGrath, and then Mark Salvador finishing in third. We should mention that Terrence Judge only completed 48 laps, about 10 laps down, as he finished the race watching from turn 7. Then in ME1, Frank Osborne completing 55 laps. He is your sole racer in ME1. In 911 Cup, Eugen Basha and Don Anger both finish on the same lap. They both complete 60 laps. Basha taking the win, Anger to finishing second. Dwayne Moses finishing 21 laps back in third. Also over at turn 7, watching his race conclude. In iStock, Franklin Prey, we mentioned, your overall winner finishes 2 laps up on Sam Amano, who finishes second in class. In F-Stock, Jordan Simon will take the win over David Nissenbaum. And in SPC, as we told you, Eric Yortsoy taking the win over Patrick James with 2 laps in the bag there. So that's going to wrap things up now for our first of 2 endurance races today. We're going to have our final race of the weekend, Brian, here from Summit Point Raceway in the 2024 Rock the Summit in just a few moments. But first, let's take a quick break. Thanks to our partners and sponsors, and we'll see you in just a few moments.
Decision Technologies' experienced team of engineering and management specialists have significantly contributed to a wide array of crucial Department of Defense initiatives. Our streamlined management structures flexibly respond to customer requirements. Decision Technologies is driven by the foresight and knowledge required to advance the technical capabilities of our clients and help the nation succeed in most critical missions. Using a total systems approach, Decision Technologies provides high-quality, cost-effective technical support services. Decision Technologies capabilities include system performance assessment, requirements definition, design trade studies, system architecture analysis, cost schedule trade studies, risk assessment, and operational evaluation. We match our capabilities to the needs of our customers. To see if they're a match for you, visit decision-tech.com. As a platinum sponsor, Decision Technologies is proud to support Rock the Summit 2024, the PCA Potomac Founders Region Club Race. We thank the 100-plus volunteers, the event planning team, and all the racers for this year's event.
The Aaron Levitas Foundation was founded to prevent sexual assault by educating youth about boundaries, consent, and empathy using restorative approaches. Our mission is to reduce the incidence of sexual assault and help those who have experienced it heal. If we can stop sexual harassment early, we can reduce sexual assault and rape. To learn more about our many programs and initiatives, please visit our website at aaronlevitas.org. The Aaron Levitas Foundation is honored to be the charity partner for this year's Rock the Summit PCA Founders Region Club Race. We thank all the racers and volunteers for helping support our cause. Please check out our auction in person or online by scanning the QR code. All monies raised help support our mission.
With almost 200 episodes and counting, Fearless in the Kitchen, a YouTube cooking channel by Paul Amico, is dedicated to sharing hints on cooking from the heart and head with ingredients from around the world. Paul's cooking is his passion, and he wants to share it with you. Creating meals using what's on hand, Paul uses old, new, and original techniques. Just grab stuff and make it work. That's where the name comes from, Fearless in the Kitchen. Paul inspires you to create variations of the dishes he creates, pushing you to see the endless possibilities when you put your own twist on ingredients and flavors in the pan. No fancy video effects or editing, just clear and easy to follow demonstrations. So come join along on this culinary voyage. Paul posts new episodes on Saturdays and is a platinum sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2024. Paul's recipes will be featured at the Friday volunteer dinner as a thank you to the hardworking and dedicated volunteers who are making this event possible.
Fitzwater & Dean PLC is an accounting firm which dates back to 1954. We're proud that a number of clients who began with us over 50 years ago remain with us today, and we're equally proud that our business constantly grows with new clients. Our goal with all of our clients is to serve them for the next 50 years because we value relationships. We view every client relationship as a partnership and recognize that our success is a result of our clients' successes. Fitzwater & Dean are proud to be the inaugural gold level sponsor directly supporting the launch of live streaming for PCA Club Racing, a first in the nation, at this year's Rock the Summit 2024. We want to thank all of the racers, crew, their families, volunteers, and spectators, both at the track and now with live streaming, watching from anywhere in the world.
Craftsman's Auto Care is the newest offering from the legendary Matt Curry and his team from Curry's Auto Service. Comprised of ASE certified master technicians with an average of 30 years experience, Craftsman doesn't just raise but sets the bar in auto care, delivering the highest level of workmanship and customer satisfaction. With state-of-the-art facilities featuring the industry's newest and best technology, Craftsman's Auto Care services all makes of models including hybrid, HEV, and electric vehicles. They skillfully and expertly resolve the most difficult automotive repair challenges and back their work with the area's only 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty featuring digital car care inspections and show and tell service. Craftsman's Auto Care is the best team in the industry, delivering unparalleled quality with a say yes philosophy that exemplifies Matt Curry's unbridled passion for excellence. With 7 convenient Northern Virginia locations to serve you, visit them today and experience the art and science of auto care at its best. Book an appointment online at craftsmansautocare.com or call them at 833-CRAFTS-1. Craftsman's Auto Care welcomes all racers and thanks all event volunteers for this year's Rock the Summit 2024.
Located in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and serving the entire Washington, D.C. metro area for over 20 years, Europro's Collision Center is a family-owned and operated business specializing in high-end European and Asian collision repair. Their owner, Derek Ford, and his team of highly trained certified technicians are dedicated to providing exceptional service and ensuring that your vehicle receives the highest level of care. As a certified collision center for Porsche, Audi, and Lexus, and accepting all major insurance coverage, Europros is well known for its expertise in luxury vehicles, utilizing state-of-the-art equipment and techniques in conjunction with OEM parts to ensure quality repairs and customer satisfaction, returning your vehicle to pre-accident condition. To find out more, visit them at europroscollisioncenter.com or call them at 301-977-7475. As a gold sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2024, Europros Collision Center is pleased to support PCA Club Racing and this premier annual event.
Radial Tire Company is your trusted provider of high-quality, new tires, custom aftermarket wheels, and tire repair and maintenance services. We are dedicated to giving you the very best tire experience, focusing on upfront and honest quotes, timely response to issues, and quality products and parts. Since 1976, Radial Tire Company has provided the Washington, D.C. area, including Bethesda, Arlington, Washington, and surrounding areas with quality tires and the most exemplary service. We have earned a reputation as the premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tire and wheel applications, stocking tires from all top manufacturers for whatever you drive, from small economy cars to SUVs and trucks. Our mission is to assist you in getting the most out of your tires and car. For more information, visit radialtirecompany.com or call them at 301-585-2740. Radial Tire Company is pleased to provide gold-level sponsorship to this year's Rock the Summit 2024. Thank you to all the volunteers who make this year's event such a success.
Decision Technologies' experienced team of engineering and management specialists have significantly contributed to a wide array of crucial Department of Defense initiatives. Our streamlined management structures flexibly respond to customer requirements. Decision Technologies is driven by the foresight and knowledge required to advance the technical capabilities of our clients and help the nation succeed in most critical missions. Using a total systems approach, Decision Technologies provides high-quality, cost-effective technical support services. Decision Technologies' capabilities include system performance assessment, requirements definition, design trade studies, system architecture analysis, cost schedule trade studies, risk assessment, and operational evaluation. We match our capabilities to the needs of our customers. To see if they're a match for you, visit decision-tech.com. As a platinum sponsor, Decision Technologies is proud to support Rock the Summit 2024, the PCA Potomac Founders Region Club Race. We thank the 100-plus volunteers, the event planning team, and all the racers for this year's event.
The Aaron Levitas Foundation was founded to prevent sexual assault by educating youth about boundaries, consent, and empathy using restorative approaches. Our mission is to reduce the incidence of sexual assault and help those who have experienced it heal. If we can stop sexual harassment early, we can reduce sexual assault and rape. To learn more about our many programs and initiatives, please visit our website at aaronlevitas.org. The Aaron Levitas Foundation is honored to be the charity partner for this year's Rock the Summit PCA Founders Region Club Race. We thank all the racers and volunteers for helping support our cause. Please check out our auction in person or online by scanning the QR code. All monies raised help support our mission.
With almost 200 episodes and counting, Fearless in the Kitchen, a YouTube cooking channel by Paul Amico, is dedicated to sharing hints on cooking from the heart and head with ingredients from around the world. Paul's cooking is his passion, and he wants to share it with you. Creating meals using what's on hand, Paul uses old, new, and original techniques. Just grab stuff and make it work. That's where the name comes from, Fearless in the Kitchen. Paul inspires you to create variations of the dishes he creates, pushing you to see the endless possibilities when you put your own twist on ingredients and flavors in the pan. No fancy video effects or editing, just clear and easy to follow demonstrations. So come join along on this culinary voyage. Paul posts new episodes on Saturdays and is a platinum sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2024. Paul's recipes will be featured at the Friday volunteer dinner as a thank you to the hardworking and dedicated volunteers who are making this event possible.
And welcome back to Summit Point Raceway, everybody. It's the 2024 Rock the Summit. Greg Ginsburg, Brian Donati, Spencer Gaynor. We're not going to bring up the lower third.
We're not testing that button
Want to
anymore.
find out who the next oldest person is in the world.
It feels like me right now.
We've aged quite a lot in the last 3 days, Brian. All right, well, it is the final race of the weekend. It is another 90-minute endurance race, and you can see there we've got the classes down at the bottom. These are primarily our GT3 Cup cars for the most part, Brian, across multiple generations. And so as we have our racers getting ready to head out on track, let me start giving you the rundown here, Brian. Is we've gotten word that the field should be heading out on track for their pace lap in a little bit less than 1 minute. Starting on the front row today, driving the number 014 GT3 Cup car, 2019 GT3 Cup car. He is your pole sitter in the GTA 3 class, Corey Friedman. Joel Johnson, starting on the outside of the front row. He's in the number 207 GTA 4 class, 2022 GT3 Cup car, the red, white, and blue machine. Your second row, Frank Vitello will start third. He's in the number 248 GT4 2022 Porsche 992 Cup car with Frank Calzaretta doing double duty. This has got to be rough, Brian, as he's just done 90 minutes on track. He's coming out to do another 90. That's a heck of a stint. He starts fourth. He's in the number 17 GTC 7 machine. That is a 991.2 Cup car. Jared Odrick starting fifth. He's in the number 10 GTA 3 machine with Ben Wallace starting sixth. He's in the number 199 GTA 3 car. Then we got Richard White. He starts seventh. He's in the number 97 GTC 8 car. That's for his 2023 Porsche 992 Cup car. Brent Asplund will start eighth. He's in the 185 GTC 5 car with Dwayne Moses starting on the inside of row number 5. He's in a GTC 4 car, the number 64 machine. Then we've got Griff Asplund. He's running in GTD 1 here today. He is in, I believe that is a Cayman GT4 Club Sport, and so Griff is going to be starting right behind Brent. That should make for fun going down into turn one, Brian.
Absolutely.
Rami Farid will start 11th today. He's in the number 35 GTD2 car with David Dunnigan starting 12th in the number 400 GTC 6 car. Then we've got John Coster. He starts 13th today. He's in the number 573 GTC 6 car with Eric Liu starting 14th. He's in the 154 GTB 1 car. That is a 2010 Porsche Cayman. Then we move over to Timothy Lynn. He's going to start 15th today in the number 708 car. That's a GTC3 machine, with Del Alray starting 16th in the 791 GTB1 Cayman. Colin Doherty starting 17th in the number 192 GT3 machine, with Chip Santos starting 18th in the number 16 GTC4 machine. And then finally, the last car that we have down for us here before this race started, starting 19th in the 186 GTB1 machine, is Mike Beers, who, as our pole sitter, brings the field around turn 10 onto the front straight. And the green flag is in the air, Brian, and we are back underway. Take our word for it, it's waving as he comes down the front straight, heading into turn 1. And I think we had one other driver join us. We'll get the number there. I think that was Jeff Smith.
Yeah, 924 Jeff Smith. Mark Calzaretta did not take the green flag.
So
at least that's what it's saying on timing and scoring, and I did not see his number 17 machine. And we got one car that has gone off on one, making a complete U-turn. I think we have another one
There's a
sitting
second
over there.
car there as well, so
Yeah.
a couple of white GT3 Cup cars off in the grass. We'll get the numbers on them in just a moment from the fine folks over at turns 1 and 2. And it looks like they have now, one of them
The one
has
car that was spun around that's just now coming through, that's Jared Odrick in the 10 car coming through, and we'll see what the next one is.
the 154
Yeah.
car, I think, is the other machine
Yep,
that went
right
around.
there. Yep.
And the 154, that is Eric Liu in his GTB1 Porsche Cayman.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like we got the 10 and then the 154 there.
As our leaders now coming out of turn 10 for the very first time and onto the front straight. Brian, and your leader after one lap is Joel Johnson. He leads the GTA 4 class, and more importantly, leads Corey Friedman, who has, I think, probably been the class of the event all weekend long. He's had the fastest car out here in his 2019 GT3 Cup car, the GTA 3 leader. Richard White second, then Brent Esplun, Dwayne Moses, Ben Wallace. Should mention that we said that Brent and Griff Esplun, father and son, were going to be starting right in front of the other. Brent completed lap 1 in 4th, obviously taking advantage of that incident down at turn 1, moving up 4 positions. Griff Esplun now moves into 8th position, having started in 10th.
Yeah. And again, 2 Kelly Moss prepared Porsches, and I tell you what, Kelly Moss winning at Daytona in January.
That's right.
In the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series in the Grand Sport. So, again, 2 well-prepared cars. Looks like there may have been a third car involved in that Odrick Liu battle, that we had early on there in turn 1. Looks like there may have been some little bit of a contact to the rear that caused that spin, Greg.
Yeah. Oh, there was one other car involved, Brian, and it, taking a look here, it sounded like it wasn't the 192 car at Doherty, but I'm wondering if it was Ben Wallace in the 199 car.
Looks like there made some contact with one of the one of the crimson cars, red color cars in there. So we'll let them figure that out and see. But obviously it was in the top 5 because that's where. Yeah.
All right. So the word we're getting is that that the 10 car got into the back of a crimson car. Now, there were 3 crimson cars ahead. One was Joel Johnson, who's our current leader.
Right.
One was Corey Friedman, who is the pole sitter.
Right.
And then there was also Richard White in the 97 car. So I think that's the answer. I said 92 car. I think 97 car.
Yeah, the blue and the red.
Yeah, blue and red of Richard White. Likely the one. Richard White having started in 7th position.
Yep.
So we're going to still work this out. Some of our corner workers are trying to get some information. But you mentioned, Brian, that Mark Calzaretta did not take the green flag.
Yeah.
We thought that, he would have essentially a 3-hour stint with maybe 5 minutes in between the two portions of that stint. And yeah, he'd be a heck of an Ironman, but you can see there
Dwayne
in our
Moses
ticker.
is out here running as well, and
That's
he was
true.
in the last group. But Dwayne Moses didn't run the entire 90
Yeah,
minutes
maybe-
or 85
Yeah,
minutes.
he was over at
technically.
turn 7
Because
for a
he's
good portion of it.
Correct. He got a ride back.
Did he get a ride back, or did he run all the way back up here from the bottom half of the course?
I don't know. I think he got a ride back. I think during that race they asked somebody to go down there and pick him up and bring him up, and then they'd bring the car back up later on. But again, with a 90-minute race, you're really on track for 85 minutes.
And Brian, look at this fight coming down through turn 5 through the chute, the high-speed chute. I believe that was David Dunnigan, Jared Odrick, who had fallen all the way back to the back of the pack. At the end of this lap, had worked his way back up to 12th, trying to make the move on the 400 machine of Dunnigan as they went down into turn 5. Dunnigan was running 11th. He's now running 12th.
Yeah. And again, you talk about Jared Odrick with that spin in there, and also Eric Liu, being that this is a 90-minute race, you now have an opportunity to change your strategy a little bit,
right,
knowing that you're back behind the field and you're having to work back through. Maybe you go an extra lap or two before you pit from your strategy, or maybe an extra couple of minutes, right? Change that strategy up where that may put you back into where that position was.
Brian, OG Racing has been a national sponsor of PCA Club Racing since 1998. Headquartered in Sterling, Virginia, and staffed by PCA members and club racers, OG Racing has always carried the industry's best in racing safety equipment and performance parts. Give OG Racing a call or visit them at www.ogracing.com and sign up for their newsletter. OG Racing is a proud sponsor of the Rookie Racer Award.
Greg, early on, we're looking to hear Joel Johnson leading in that 207 machine, and then Corey Freeman in that 014. I tell you what, Corey Freeman had that problem yesterday morning, didn't get off pit lane for the sprint race, had to start shotgun on the field, and worked his way all the way back up to, I believe, fourth or fifth place. Yeah,
in the morning sprint race.
Yep, and then that allowed Joel Johnson to pick up the win. Then in the afternoon, Friedman started on the pole and pretty much dominated yesterday afternoon sprint race there. Now in this hour and a half, Corey Friedman back by about 3.5, 4 seconds to Joel Johnson. Is this a strategy? Taking care of those tires early on, not trying to run them off to go out and get it and save it for after you make your 5-minute mandatory pit stop.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, this is one of those things, Brian, and we didn't see many crew members out on the pit lane for our first endurance race of the day. This is the opportunity also when drivers come down, if they have put a lot of extra heat, if they've seen the tire pressures really elevate over the course of the first stint before they come in for their pit stop, they could have the crew members bleed those tires down a little bit and hopefully get them back into a better operating pressure. I still don't see many teams along the pit lane there as well, but as we talked about early on when our first race started today, because it's a little bit later in the morning, the temperatures have definitely risen quite a bit since what we saw early on. We see now it's just about over 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That's ambient air temperature. So it's about 10 degrees or so, 12 degrees warmer ambient air than what we saw when our first endurance race started. But with the sun moving up higher in the sky, with very little cloud cover, as we take a look at this great shot coming into turn 1, you can see that there's practically no cloud cover here. The pavement has just been soaking in sunlight for hours, and it is much warmer. And I think it's going to be much more of a factor here than what we saw in the first endurance race.
Yeah, I think as this race goes on, Greg, you're right. I think what you're going to see is we're going to see time slow down a lot more. These are a little bit heavier cars than we saw in the first Enduro. These guys, when I say tire degradation goes away, in these cars, they will go away in an instant. So you could be running perfect for a good 30 minutes, and then when you get to lap, in the 35th minute, it's gone. You're doing everything you can to hold on.
All right, we're watching this great fight, Brian, coming out of turn 10 now. with the 2 white Porsches in a row, and that is, of course, the number 179 machine coming across the line.
I think that's Ben Wallace in the
Wallace,
199. That would actually be for position,
right? And Jared Odrick,
yeah,
directly behind. And again, that is the battle in GT3, as you mentioned, all in the same class. Of course, Corey Friedman, quite a bit ahead, running second overall right now, and about 35 seconds up the road from these two. But this is a race that we saw yesterday as well for quite some time.
Absolutely.
And Jared Odrick obviously on the back foot given the lap 1 incident, but he's it didn't take him all that long to get back in the fight.
Yeah. Interesting conversation with Jared last night. A lot of racing coming up. Not only he is definitely going to be playing not the train thing, but he's going to be playing planes and automobiles.
Plane, no trains.
Yeah, plane, no trains and automobiles.
No sharing pillows, though, with Barry Bowes.
The next couple of weeks, headed off to Road America, turn around and race for that national championship. Also running the TA2 Trans Am race down at VIR.
Right, on the same weekend. On
the same weekend. So, pretty interesting story there. He's still trying to figure out logistics. One of his competitors has a plane. He's trying to figure out how to go back and forth with that competitor on the plane. So
right.
I think there was talk about, since Jared is a larger gentleman and of the football stature, to hang on to the wing if he wants a free ride. But I think somebody had mentioned yesterday that you'd probably get as far as Chicago and you'd probably fall off after that.
Well, Brian, that sounds like a Twilight Zone episode.
Exactly.
We'll give William Shatner a call and see if he agrees. All right, so here as we continue to watch that battle between Odrick and Wallace, and Odrick has managed to get around. I know it's hard to tell because they're both white, but Odrick now moving up to 7th overall in the second in GTA 3. Wallace now the trailing car. We'll see if he can make up some ground there. Again, both of these racers lapping fairly consistently, but now we're seeing where Jared Odrick starting to open up a bit of a gap back to Ben Wallace. As a matter of fact, on the previous lap, Wallace was about 0.6 off of the lap time that Jared Odrick had put in. Odrick just now resetting his personal best, Brian, and he was 1.2 seconds faster than Wallace, and we can see where that gap now as they come down into turn 1 has opened up to about 7-8 car lengths.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, again, these times they'll start to fall off a little bit as these cars start to burn off fuel. You're starting to see a little bit of that now with Joel Johnson. He's got some pretty clean racetrack right now, but his times are starting to drop, 6, 8, 9, almost a full second slower. So as they go out and get out into a gap for their next competitor, you can see that they're trying to take care of the equipment.
All right, Brian, SunTech empowers vehicle owners and professional installers by offering a broad selection of automotive tint products, each able to improve the look and performance of window glass in its own way. No matter the set of benefits, we don't compromise on formulation or installation and installation ease, as this is critical for everyone's product satisfaction. Select metal-free ceramic and carbon film technology to keep GPS, satellite radio, and cellular phone signals free from interference. Make a statement with an industry-leading specialty mirror look, or go for low-key clear film that doesn't alter appearance. For more information, check out SunTech, SUNTEK.com.
Greg, one of the things that I'm noticing early on, and we saw this in the first group, is we had some that came down and took their mandatory pit stops early on, right? Not because of a spin or something else, or a electrical issue or whatever on their car. They came down to get it out early, knowing their car would be pretty good for the second half of this race. So I'm not seeing that right now on these Cup cars.
So if we check in with the GTC 6 class, Brian, Jeff Smith, who is currently running 5th overall, currently has somewhere around a 3.5 second advantage over Brent Esplan. Smith in a 2016 991.1, and Splun, who just crossed the line in a 991.1, a 2015 edition, as they head down into turn number 1. And it looks as though I think we're seeing a Splun maybe make up a little bit of ground there on Smith that last time by. Actually picked up about 4/10. And you know what? As they come towards turn 3, Brian, I think Brenna Splund now getting past Jeff Smith. Smith looks a little bit off the pace, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see as the race goes on. Again, it could be that, again, really trying to take care of the equipment early on to set it up for, again, come in about the halfway point and take your mandatory pit stop and, set it out for the next 40, for the last 40 minutes.
All right, Brian, let's do this. Why don't we take a quick little break, thanks to our partners and sponsors, and when we come back, we'll have more action here with our final endurance race of the day, our final race of the day, and the weekend at the 2024 Rock the Summit, presented by PCA Potomac, with technical assistance on our broadcast from the Washington, D.C. region of the SCCA. We'll be right back.
Located in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and serving the entire Washington, D.C. metro area for over 20 years, EuroPros Collision Center is a family-owned and operated business specializing in high-end European and Asian collision repair. Their owner, Derek Ford, and his team of highly trained certified technicians are dedicated to providing exceptional service and ensuring that your vehicle receives the highest level of care. As a certified collision center for Porsche, Audi, and Lexus, and accepting all major insurance coverage, EuroPros is well known for its expertise in luxury vehicles, utilizing state-of-the-art equipment and techniques in conjunction with OEM parts to ensure quality repairs and customer satisfaction, returning your vehicle to pre-accident condition. To find out more, visit them at europroscollisioncenter.com or call them at 301-977-7475. As a gold sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2024, EuroPros Collision Center is pleased to support PCA Club Racing and this premier annual event.
Radial Tire Company is your trusted provider of high-quality, new tires, custom aftermarket wheels, and tire repair and maintenance services. We are dedicated to giving you the very best tire experience, focusing on upfront and honest quotes, timely response to issues, and quality products and parts. Since 1976, Radial Tire Company has provided the Washington, D.C. area, including Bethesda, Arlington, Washington, and surrounding areas with quality tires and the most exemplary service. We have earned a reputation as the premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tire and wheel applications, stocking tires from all top manufacturers for whatever you drive, from small economy cars to SUVs and trucks. Our mission is to assist you in getting the most out of your tires and car. For more information, visit radialtirecompany.com or call them at 301-585-2740. Radial Tire Company is pleased to provide gold-level sponsorship to this year's Rock the Summit 2024. Thank you to all the volunteers who make this year's event such a success.
And welcome back, everybody, to Summit Point Raceway. It's a 2024 Rock the Summit presented by PCA Potomac. I'm Greg Ginsberg, along with Brian Donati and Spencer Gaynor. And, of course, Apex Performance Premier Racing Outfitters provide racing equipment and product support to motorsports enthusiasts. A member of the PCA since 1991, Clark Hammerly and his wife, Linda, both hold competitive racing licenses and install, use, and test the equipment they sell. This enables them to provide unbiased technical assistance on installation and use of their products. They invite you to visit their showroom in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. Shop online at www.apexperformance.net. Call toll-free or view their track schedule online. Mention PCA Club Racing to receive a discount on your next purchase.
Tell you what, Greg, I was coming up after we took that quick break, and I was basically run over, I'm kidding, run over by Alex Farragut, who we brought up here to the booth today. Alex, real quick, as we're watching this, talk about that race this morning, because it was very eventful for you.
Well, it was just two people in my class, so it wasn't like too much. But yeah, it was fun. It was nice. I was going for lap time, so I matched what I wanted, so that was a lot of fun. But yesterday was probably more eventful for me than today.
So tell us, how long have you been racing?
I think my first race was in 2021.
Okay, so racing now about 3 years. And how did you get into road racing? Obviously, your dad is racing as well. Did he kind of bring you the track at a young age?
Not too young. He had his first race in 2020, but he was doing track days before that.
Okay.
And I was working like at mechanic shops and stuff. So I was working in the industry, and then he started racing, and then it all kind of just overlapped together. I did karting for a bit when I was younger.
Okay.
But not too importantly to make it.
I did it when I was older. I didn't do it when I was younger. I'm doing it when I'm
And
older.
it's still unimportant,
And
right?
it's still not important, right? So, no, absolutely. So,
But no, I love it. It's great.
so how many times have you run here? Do you run here? Is this kind of considered your home track?
No, I'm from Philadelphia, so
Okay.
my home track is New Jersey Motorsports Park in
Okay.
Millville.
Yep.
Sure.
Here I think I've done 3 races here
Okay.
total.
Okay. So some experience
Yeah, I
out
do it
here,
once a year.
understanding it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
And
that
then
won't
I did DEs like in my early career
Right.
Right.
here
Right.
a bunch too.
Okay. Good.
Oh, Brian, real quick, and we got it on camera here. Looks like
That is actually Dwayne Moses down there. So again, he's going to back up a little bit. Hopefully, don't back up too
don't
much.
back up too much.
I know you want to try to get through
Well,
there.
he kept it out of the gravel trap, which is a good thing, as you mentioned, Dwayne Moses. That's the number 64 GTC 4 machine, it looks like.
And he had a problem earlier on as well, right? I mean, his car was sitting down there behind turn 6, turn 7 there for quite some time as well. So
So the Porsche 920, it's actually a 944 that you're racing, right? Is this your first race car
Yeah.
or okay?
First, at the moment only, but there might be big
Okay.
things changing next year.
Oh, really?
So.
Dad's getting out of the seat. You're getting in the boxer.
Never. I like the vintage cars. I'll stick in the 80s era.
Yeah.
Okay. So given that, are you looking at something like a 968 or?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
He's
now,
not giving it
now
away.
tell us a little bit the history of this race car. Was this a race car when you acquired it, or is it? I know folks that build their cars from scratch. Obviously, you say you're in the industry, so I don't know if it's something that you built up or if it's something you acquired on the
I
way.
bought it on the PCA marketplace
Okay.
classifieds. A guy built it in New York a long time ago, like early 2000s.
Okay.
He built it from scratch. He had an auto body shop, so he built the whole thing from scratch. And then I think Speedworks New York did all the mechanical stuff.
Okay.
And then it kind of changed ownership. It was a 944 Cup for a while, whatever. And then I bought it off of a guy in Alabama.
Okay. So it's
been
traveling.
around.
Yeah.
It's been around.
Very, very.
But it's been
interesting.
racing with PCA, I think, since 2006.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are you doing? I know, obviously, you've been doing the sprints and everything else. Came up doing the DEs. Do you normally do all the enduros as well? Is it like a whole weekend thing, or are you just
I always
just doing
do
it
them.
once a year here?
If I'm here, I'm gonna do them all.
You're gonna do them all.
You know?
There you go.
I do 5 to 6 races a year.
Yeah.
so-
Okay.
And I'll do all the sprints, all the enduros, etc.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Which one do you like better? Do you like doing the sprints or do you like
Sprints
doing the
are way
enduro?
better.
Oh, the sprints are way better.
Yeah.
What do you not like about the enduro portion of it?
Usually there's in my class there's less car count,
Uh-huh.
so it kind of just can be boring.
Right, so it's kind of a-
like in the sprints we can have up to 5 or 6 cars.
Yeah.
In the enduro it's sometimes only me. So,
Yeah. Okay.
So I just kind of go out there and focus on trying to run lap times or play with my boxer friends. Or
Yeah.
something.
Play with my boxer friend. Tries to pass Dad, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All
All the time. Absolutely.
So I have to ask. So, who was doing the chat? Was it actually you in the car with the phone?
you.
You had the phone. See?
I have my phone in my pocket when I'm in the car, and I was in the
Oh.
pit. I wasn't racing and texting, I promise.
I'd say because I call a number of iRacing events, and I have a few drivers that I know that will also be in the YouTube chat. Now, there's a lot less concern than I have. if they take out a fellow racer virtually, well, it's all virtual. So obviously we get
No,
concerned,
I don't.
but, okay.
When the track's hot, I don't use.
You
my
don't
phone.
use the phone.
But if
Okay,
I'm in
sure.
pits for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
the
Well,
other
what
day-
else are you gonna do, right? You got a social media. Do some social media stuff.
And I love YouTube streams, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, thank you. We definitely appreciate that. I was gonna say, Brian, I knew racers here that would race in certain endurance races with other organizations that if they hit the pits, and again it was a very different time, or if they had an incident and maybe were along the side of the track, they always packed a pack of cigarettes.
That's awesome.
That they had available. I guess this is the modern day version. You always have your phone with you in case you have a little
My
bit
car
of
won't
spare
catch
time.
on fire if I use my phone, but
That-
if I light a
that is
cigarette, it
true.
might.
It might,
Yeah, that's a good
absolutely.
point. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, so obviously we talked about what that there are plans possibly for a different drive for next year. But where do you see yourself for the next couple of years? A lot of folks obviously when we come out, we're doing PCA Club Racing or other organizations. It's just that. It's club racing. It's a hobby. Are you looking to maybe make inroads further in the industry and in motorsports? Or
maybe if I'm given some type of opportunity, I'm never going to say no.
We'll say that a couple great companies that support the industry, and she is all decked out. She's got the Hoosier Racing Tire hat, the Hawk Performance. I should be calling my good friend DJ Alessandrini from Hawk Performance and let him know maybe he has a position for you.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. The past few years, I've been kind of busy. I was living overseas and stuff, so I didn't have a lot of time to focus on the racing.
Okay.
This coming next season, I think I'm gonna be all hands in with everything, especially with like social media, marketing, and stuff like that.
Oh, wonderful.
So.
Now, were you overseas for school?
No, I was seeing a guy in Germany.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were studying. I know that's a lot of schools around here do that with the study abroad program. So I wasn't sure maybe you were
No, I was just
doing that. So.
But during my time over there, I went to the Nürburgring, which was cool.
Oh, very cool. Excellent. Turn some good laps over there.
Only 2.
It's a long lap, but that's
You're right.
It's a long lap, and the ring taxi cars are awfully expensive. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right.
Well, as I say, let's take a couple minutes. Let's give some recap here going on
absolutely.
here. So as we look at our overall field here, with just kind of coming up on that hour left here, we're taking about an hour and 4 minutes. We should start to see some pit stops getting ready to start happening here within this class. We talked about it earlier on, where in the first group, pit stops were done early to give that long run. It doesn't seem like that's the case here. Joel Johnson in that 207 machine in that GTA 4 class. He's your overall leader. Corey Friedman in that 014. He's leading the GTA 3 class. Frank Vitello in that 248 in that 992. He is second in GTA 4
and about 40 seconds behind Johnson there, although he's in third overall. So Johnson, as we kind of expected, as he's actually started to walk away from Friedman on track as well, has really opened up a pretty commanding lead over Vitello. You'll notice fourth overall right now, that is Richard White. And Richard is our sole racer here today in the GTC 8 class, the number 97 2023 992 Cup car. So nobody that he's really fighting for position there. We'll say he's got the win in GTC 8, but we'll see how things work out for him. But then we've got Jeff Smith, and Jeff is leading the GTC 6 class, Brian, over Brent Desplund, who we know started off, I think, in 8th position. Currently about a 9-second advantage as they're now making their way down into turn 1. With David Dunnigan running in third in the 400 machine, John Coster running behind. Right now, we've got Smith and Esplund up by, I'd say, about 25 seconds over Dunnigan and Coster. But this is actually a fight we might want to check in on a little once we finish up with Alex. Dunnigan and Coster were nose to tail. Actually, I think we just saw them going down through turn 4. And in GTA 3. Corey Friedman, who is running second overall, of course, he's got the lead over Jared Odrick and Ben Wallace. Odrick having to work his way from the back there after that unfortunate turn 1 spin. Yeah,
kind of been in that top 4, top 5 overall range all weekend long, now sitting in 6th. But again, this comes back into some strategies. It looks like we've got one car on pit road now starting to make that change, starting to make those pit stops here.
And a second one coming down the pit lane now as well, Brian. And apparently I need to invest in higher power binoculars.
It's kind of hard to see with the tub there and where our camera is, but it does look like there is a few of them, a lot of fueling going on down there again. So, again, I don't believe, and Alex, you can tell us because I'm not really sure on this, are you allowed to change tires as well within that 5 minutes, or is it just fuel only?
Yeah, you can change tires.
Is it so you can do everything? You can do a four tire stop and everything, whatever you can get done in that 5 minutes.
I'm pretty sure that you can't use power tools.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
Because I never have to change it.
I was going to say that 944 should be able to make it the whole 90 minutes on.
But
fuel
I don't think they can have power tools out there. I think there's a rule about that of sorts. So if you want to change all 4 tires, I think you have to kind of do it all by hand.
All by hand, and
I think I could
that would be a little bit more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, likely.
Yeah.
I think so.
But these cars definitely have to refuel.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd be able to make it 90 minutes on a single tank. tank. And of course, you've got, well, changing tires. You got the big single wheel nut on a lot of those cars. So there's a lot of torque involved there. All right, so let's do this, Brian. Let's take a quick little break as we're just now hitting the a little bit under the 30-minute elapsed mark. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few moments, and hopefully our guest, Alex Farragut, will be able to stay with us for a few more minutes. We'll be right back.
Fitzwater & Dean PLC is an accounting firm which dates back to 1954. We're proud that a number of clients who began with us over 50 years ago remain with us today, and we're equally proud that our business constantly grows with new clients. Our goal with all of our clients is to serve them for the next 50 years because we value relationships. We view every client relationship as a partnership and recognize that our success is a result of our clients' successes. Fitzwater & Dean are proud to be the inaugural gold level sponsor directly supporting the launch of live streaming for PCA Club Racing, a first in the nation, at this year's Rock the Summit 2024. We want to thank all of the racers, crew, their families, volunteers, and spectators, both at the track and now with live streaming, watching from anywhere in the world.
Craftsman's Auto Care is the newest offering from the legendary Matt Curry and his team from Curry's Auto Service. Comprised of ASE certified master technicians with an average of 30 years experience, Craftsman doesn't just raise but sets the bar in auto care, delivering the highest level of workmanship and customer satisfaction. With state-of-the-art facilities featuring the industry's newest and best technology, Craftsman's Auto Care services all makes of models including hybrid, HEV, and electric vehicles. They skillfully and expertly resolve the most difficult automotive repair challenges and back their work with the area's only 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty featuring digital car care inspections and show and tell service. Craftsman's Auto Care is the best team in the industry, delivering unparalleled quality with a say yes philosophy that exemplifies Matt Curry's unbridled passion for excellence. With 7 convenient Northern Virginia locations to serve you, visit them today and experience the art and science of auto care at its best. Book an appointment online at craftsmansautocare.com or call them at 833-CRAFTS-1. Craftsman's Auto Care welcomes all racers and thanks all event volunteers for this year's Rock the Summit 2024.
And we're back here at Summit Point Raceway. It is the 2024 edition of Rock the Summit presented by Porsche Club of America's PCA Potomac Region, the Founders Region here. And I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Brian Donati. We've got Alex Farragut joining us here in the booth as well. Real quick, Brian, I got a quick announcement to make here in the paddock, and then we'll get back to talking to Alex and get back to the racing action. Attention in the paddock. This is the last call for you to pick up your auction items. And we are looking for 3 people: Davey Ahern, Gerald Ritzert, and Ben Mitchell. If you go to the end classroom, you'll be able to pick up your auction items. Again, Davey Ahern, Gerald Ritzert, and Ben Mitchell. Please head to the end classroom so you can collect your auction items. And we want to thank you for bidding and making our work with the Aaron Levitas Foundation this weekend so successful. Thank you.
And just as we were getting ready to go to that break, Alex brought in that Jeff Smith in that Cup car, in that GTC 6. That's his first time this weekend in the car. His first time he's renting it.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit as you know a little bit more. I think he's doing awesome with that car for the first time renting it.
Yeah, I've known Jeff for a while. He's from my area. So
yeah.
I've seen him. He's been in the Boxster, and then he was in Spec Haven for a while. And it's fun seeing him in, the fast bunch.
Now, do you call him Jeff or do you call him by the nickname that you just mentioned?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Jeffs, so you. So we do call him Fast Jeff for a reason.
Good thing my name's not Jeff.
Would you like to tell us who Slow Jeff is?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Good thing my name's not Jeff.
There's no Slow Jeff.
Not as fast, Jeff. All right.
I have a nickname of Fast Alex, too, because there's a lot of Alex.
Brian, let's look coming down into turn 1 right now. Great fight here. Looks like we've got sitting up at the front of the field now. I believe that was Corey Friedman. It looks like working his way through the traffic.
Yeah, looking through the Asplund's battle going on there.
Yeah,
with Ben Wallace, I believe.
Yeah, getting past Ben Wallace and Griff Asplund there. So lapping our second place racer now is lapped up to 7th position, and we can see him following some of that traffic. down into turn number 5 now. Still about 8 seconds in arrears of Joel Johnson, your GTA 4 and overall leader.
Yeah, it looks like we've got Colin Doherty down there on pit road. Got the door open. I saw him standing there a little bit, blowing some air inside the cockpit of that car, Greg, and trying to blow some of the the brake dust off that car, trying to clean up some of that to try to get it as much air as possible. So when he does go back out, really for the last stint, to really try to get as much of that car as he can. Because like I said, these tires, when they go away, they're going to go away quickly.
Quickly, yeah. So, Alex, while we got you here, I think this is, as you were talking about wanting to get into marketing and social media. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of your sponsors here this weekend?
For the 944s, we're sponsored with Hoosier.
Okay.
And most of us run Hawk Performance
Hawk Performance Pads.
So, yeah,
There
great
you go.
stuff. Love Hoosier, love them. I'm personally sponsored by United States Roofing Corporation. They're based out of Philly. It's a roofing company. And then I have a lot of my friends' brands support me and stuff like that around. But I'm going to work on more of that kind of stuff. Definitely in the winter when I'm perhaps switching classes.
Here we go.
Be a very good opportunity.
He is not going to let it out. We're not getting it out of her on this air, that's for sure.
I mean, if you tell us, nobody's going to hear it anyhow. So,
Oh, I don't know. It felt
All
pretty
my
well.
friends are here watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she had a whole group of people.
Oh,
on
yeah,
the chat
we
yesterday.
saw there were about 30 of them there.
My fan
I want to thank all 1,900 of them that were in for your race yesterday. Thank you.
For me and my dad.
That's right.
Looks like, Greg, we've got, I believe that's Ben Wallace that's down there on the pit road coming out through. Came down. We'll see whether or not he continues on. I mean, coming out very slow. I think that may not be Ben Wallace either. That may be the. Yeah, I do believe that is. No, that's a 179.
179 machine. Now heading back behind the wall.
I don't have a
Dave
179 on here, so I'm
Right.
not sure if that's Ben Wallace or not. So I do believe it probably is because he's starting to drop all the way down. He's sitting in technically 19th place. I think that is supposed to be the 199.
Yes.
So it looks like his day is
now
done for
done.
now. May come back out, but it didn't look like it was going to happen.
Yeah, and so Ben, we can see there at the bottom of the ticker, he's in the GTA 3 class and was running third at the time.
Colin Doherty coming back out on the racetrack now after his 5-minute mandatory pit stop there. Again, they had the door open trying to get as much air to everything else. We've got another car on pit road there as well. You can see it's got the hood up there on the camera. That's hard to make out with the hood up there. So we'll have to
And
figure out
Brian,
who
I
that is.
believe what we're seeing, just as Alex mentioned, that a lot of the cars, they are requiring additional fuel. That I believe what we're seeing is that they're actually fueling
that car up,
with those cars with the fuel cells, that they don't have dry brake systems involved for quick fueling.
Yep. So, you sure you're not going to tell us what we're? I'm kidding. Just had to ask one more time.
One more time?
One more time. It's kind of like the Mike Myers reference. If you ask it 3 times, I have to tell you. I'm thinking it may be the same thing, right? So we'll have to follow along again. This is the first time Greg and I have been here doing this. We can't wait to do this again as we get more involved with this. I think we'll get to understand really what's kind of going on, but we're starting to pick this up and starting to pick up the drivers, and so
You guys are doing a great
it's
job.
been a
Thank you.
fantastic weekend to come out here and do this.
Now you said that, of course, being from Philly, New Jersey Motorsports Park is your favorite favorite race. We'll call it a race facility.
It's my home track, but it's not necessarily my
Because see, that's perfect, because that's what I was going to ask is, of course there are the 2 different racetracks in Millville. What's your favorite racetrack? Where do you like to race the most?
Out of anywhere?
Yes, out of anywhere.
I would say my top 3 are Lime Rock,
Okay.
Summit Point, and Watkins Glen.
And Watkins Glen. And what do you like so much about the Glen?
I love how grand it is, and it's not the best in my car because there is a lot of straights and I don't have much horsepower pushing me through those straights, so it can get a little boring. But
I've raced a 130 horsepower Honda at the Glen. I totally get it.
That's where I'm at. Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but the turns that do exist are really a lot of fun. I think the racing there is really good. The passing situations are a lot of fun, and there's always stuff going on. So.
And of course another historic track you mentioned at Lime Rock, the little bull ring. I assume that actually is a course that is more well suited to your 944.
For my car. It's great because like I run out there with the Boxsters and it is a small track and we're all running within a second of each other. So it's like even if I don't have anyone in my class to necessarily compete with, I can.
There's somebody there. Yeah.
It's still fun. I love Lime Rock's my favorite. And it's beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous facility. Many of them here. I mean, we're very lucky here on the East Coast.
Yes.
So have you ever raced at VIR before?
I did for the first time this year.
Okay, what do you think?
I liked it. I definitely think I need more time there. I didn't do any DE. I just kind of went in, raced, and left, and I haven't been since. So
okay.
I need to.
That's one of those tracks. It takes a lot of time to one, become comfortable with it, but also to really figure out all the nuances. It's got a lot of great flow, but also there are portions of that track where, there's that very long straightaway, that back straight, where you get a lot of time to think about how you just messed up Oak Tree.
Give me time to, text the YouTube chat.
I kind of figured that was the case. If you get like Apple CarPlay or something in the car there,
Siri.
yeah, exactly. You don't even have to type anything.
But no, I liked VIR though.
All right, Brian. Looks like we just had another driver head back behind the wall.
Yeah, looks like that's David Dunnigan in the 400 machine. So again, these guys running as long as they can, not actually making those pit stops, coming in, after that 45-minute mark, and then pretty much calling it a day.
Going for an early lunch down at Shea Summit.
Yeah,
is that the deal?
They're definitely going somewhere.
All right, so Dunnigan running the, as you mentioned, the 400 in the GTC 6 class, where Jeff Smith is your leader, Brent Asplund second, John Coster running in third. And it looks like each of those racers for the moment separated by a lap, and I think that's as our pit cycles are moving on. All right, so Alex, not to hustle you out of here, but to wrap things up, I know you need to get packed up and head back up to Philly. I want to thank you for coming in and joining us.
Thank you.
Want to thank you for helping the algorithm all weekend
long. Anytime.
and getting this very first PCA Club race that's been streamed, getting a little notoriety, a little attention, and hopefully we'll be back doing more, and hopefully we'll catch you on track in your new car that you won't tell us about.
Yeah. I can't wait to see you guys again. You guys did such a good job. I think it's a beautiful setup that you guys have. So.
Yep.
Very, very cool. Everybody,
that.
There we go. We definitely appreciate that. Everybody, that is Alex Farragut, and she is the driver for now of the number 229 Porsche 944 racing in the SP2 class, correct? And a national champion, is that?
Two-time now.
Two-time now.
Yeah,
really?
This year was my second national champion.
Well, if I'd known this, I probably would have kept you in here for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
She made sure you were very aware because she put
twice.
She gave you the fingers.
Well, I'm a two-time HPDE national champion, so there you go.
All right.
I'm always in the fastest run group. Anyway, all right. Well, I want to thank two-time SP2 national champion Alex Farragut for joining us here today from Rock the Summit 2024, and all the best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you.
All right, Brian, let's get back to it, and we'll take a look at some of the action that we have now as we've got just a little bit over 45 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I tell you what, again, Joel Johnson, Corey Friedman, Frank Vitello, Jared Odrick, they haven't pitted yet, right? That's your top four overall. Again, a couple battles in class here and there, but I tell you what, they are going to have to make that pit stop, and that battle is going to have to open up
a little bit, yeah.
A little bit more, as we get going. So we're going to have to wait and see, when they do pit, where does that battle bring them back in after that 5 minutes?
All right, Brian, Demon Speed Motorsports offers a full line of products for your race or track car. With their background in Porsche GT3 Cup cars, they bring the same quality and durability to the street and track replacement parts that they produce. These products include suspension links, motorsport-style center lock parts and kits, brake rotors, and wing uprights. And now with Good Arrow Wings and RacingTireWarmers.com are part of the Demon Speed family. To learn more about Demon Speed Motorsports and see their great products, visit them at www.demonspeedmotorsports.com.
Again, we mentioned Colin Doherty back on the racetrack here in that 192, in that VGTX class, in that 911. So again, back on the racetrack for there. Kind of setting pretty much, I was looking at lap times before he came in for his pit stops. A little bit, pretty consistent all the way across the board in that machine. So again, as the temperature starting to rise here, as we are, at least coming up on the halfway point here of this 90-minute enduro, you can tell that guys in the time, drivers in this time frames, they're starting to slow down just a little bit. Some of them are within 2 seconds, as they said earlier on.
Yeah, and so Doherty, and Doherty's the only racer that we have in VGTX, which is one of our vintage classes, that he's been running consistently in that mid to high 120 range, and we can see where maybe it took a little bit longer to get the fueling done in that car. He was on the pit lane for about 6.5 minutes, or his entire lap was about 6.5 minutes.
Right.
So, a bit of extra time there for him, but good run so far as he picks up another position on track, moves up into 16th position now as he gets around Eric Liu's GTB1 Cayman. And we just now have the 154 machine. That is Eric Liu, actually. Just now it looks like he was on the pit lane, just completed his pit stop, and he's back underway.
Yeah, we'll have to pick those up. Pick that up here, and again, a lot of battles going on, but it's really going to determine. We've got another car down there on pit road, Spencer. I'm not sure we're going to be able to make out that number. Again, it's another one of those white Porsches. We got a ton of them down there, so out there. It looks like we also have, and I'm going to look here in the binoculars, I think we have one of the Asplunge cars. They're now coming in. I'm not sure. That may have been Griff that came through, because I just saw Brent go by, unless it was the other one that I saw. But again, as they're starting to make these pit stops now, we're going to sit here 5 minutes. Looks like we got one car that may have spun or may have gone 2 off. I believe we just had 2 off there going down into turn 1. Was able to continue. We'll see if we get a call for that, but I did see some little bit of smoke down there in 1 last time by when we had a couple of those cars that went through there. So again, looks like nothing there. And so we head down into turn 1. There you go, Spencer. That's a pretty good battle right there. That's got Colin Doherty in it, and I believe that is actually going to be Remy Feard and Eric Liu in that. I believe that's obviously Colin Doherty in that 1. We'll see who that red crimson car was. That may have been Remy Feard in that Cayman, in that GT4 up there as well. So again, that's a battle on the racetrack. Getting ready to come up. I don't believe that Remy has made his pit stop, but waiting for our leaders to start to make their way down to pit road. So again, about 42.5 minutes left to go in this race here. So we'll starting to count down. So I expect to see a lot more action on pit road here within the next probably 5 to 8 minutes for them to come down. So we'll pick them up as they do, but continuing to see pretty decent battles on the racetrack. And I think that was when I looked at it the last time, that was actually the 248. That was actually Frank Vitello that was with Colin Doherty going by last time on the last lap there. So again, got a couple cars down there on pit road going through. I think you've got Brent, and I think you do have Griff Asplunge in there, in their pit boxes there, getting some fuel, getting ready to come back out here momentarily. Corey Friedman crossing the start-finish line. He's going to complete lap 39. Joel Johnston here is already up through turn 3 and out. So there you go. There's Corey Friedman right there going down through turn 1. And we talked about this earlier on during the week. During the weekend, that what a run that Corey Friedman had yesterday morning. Didn't get that car started coming off the grid. Was scheduled to start third. Ended up going all the way to the back of this field turned around, worked his way all the way up to 4th or 5th, I believe, and then coming out, starting on the pole in the afternoon race, pretty much dominated. Joel Johnson picked up the win early on in yesterday morning's sprint race that we had going through, but pretty decent battles all the way across the board. So we'll look for them. But I tell you what, Spencer, if we can, real quick, let's go ahead. Let's take a quick little commercial break here. Then when we come back, we'll pick up the action here in this last 40 minutes of our Enduro.
With almost 200 episodes and counting, Fearless in the Kitchen, a YouTube cooking channel by Paul Amico, is dedicated to sharing hints on cooking from the heart and head with ingredients from around the world. Paul's cooking is his passion, and he wants to share it with you. Creating meals using what's on hand, Paul uses old, new, and original techniques. Just grab stuff and make it work. That's where the name comes from, Fearless in the Kitchen. Paul inspires you to create variations of the dishes he creates, pushing you to see the endless possibilities when you put your own twist on ingredients and flavors in the pan. No fancy video effects or editing, just clear and easy to follow demonstrations. So come join along on this culinary voyage. Paul posts new episodes on Saturdays and is a platinum sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2024. Paul's recipes will be featured at the Friday Volunteer Dinner as a thank you to the hardworking and dedicated volunteers who are making this event possible.
Decision Technologies' experienced team of engineering and management specialists have significantly contributed to a wide array of crucial Department of Defense initiatives. Our streamlined management structures flexibly respond to customer requirements. Decision Technologies is driven by the foresight and knowledge required to advance the technical capabilities of our clients and help the nation succeed in most critical missions. Using a total systems approach, Decision Technologies provides high-quality, cost-effective technical support services. Decision Technologies' capabilities include system performance assessment, requirements definition, design trade studies, system architecture analysis, cost schedule trade studies, risk assessment, and operational evaluation. We match our capabilities to the needs of our customers. To see if they're a match for you, visit decision-tech.com. As a platinum sponsor, Decision Technologies is proud to support Rock the Summit 2024, the PCA Potomac Founders Region Club Race. We thank the 100-plus volunteers, the event planning team, and all the racers for this year's event.
And we are back, and I tell you what, we are starting to see a lot of momentum and a lot of action here down on pit road. Is now everybody starting to come down and get the fuel. I do believe we see Jared Odrick's car and crew down there going through his 5 minutes. Mandatory pit stop. We've got I think a couple more others back there behind. We just had Mike Beers. He ended up finishing his 5 minutes, went back out on the racetrack again. So things are starting to pick up that fuel and pick up what they need to do in order to get through this last 38 minutes of this racetrack. And I tell you what, as everybody's starting to spread out a little bit further, it is starting to get to the point where if you don't come down to pit road now and do your mandatory 5 minutes, you could end up getting locked out of that window.
That's right. And, and another part of the rule set, Brian, and what they had mentioned to us last night is that drivers need to have their pit stops complete prior to 10 minutes remaining.
Right. Yeah.
And that's understandable, because what they don't want is they don't want drivers, if there's a full course caution at the end, what have you, going and waiting to the very end and pitting and gaining a huge advantage there at the very end of the race. So I definitely like that rule.
Yep. And it looks like what we did here is for our orange Enduro group that we had early on, they pitted kind of in the front half section of this of our pit road, and then our yellow group, they are pitting down back behind, down towards the end. So again, two different pit boxes here, so the crews can get their stuff out there that they need. But again, it is pretty much looking like, as I look down into the down through our pit box here, we've got one driver getting ready to come out. I believe that's going to be Jared Odrick in that number 10 machine. Sure enough, here comes Jared Odrick. So he's done with his mandatory 5-minute pit stop. So he's back on racetrack. That dropped him all the way down to 8th. At one point, he was sitting up into 4th. So moved Jeff Smith into 4th now, who is just now coming by the start-finish line. So he's actually going to catch Jared Roderick. I do not believe Jeff has been on pit road as of yet.
I don't believe so, no.
So we'll have to see when he makes that pit stop. And again, I think it could be where you have multiple teams, and I think here comes Johnson, and that's either Johnson or Fratello now coming on pit road. Corey Friedman is just now going through, and I believe that is actually going to be Fratello in the 248 machine that is just now coming on to pit road and just got there. That's the first car right there that you see. So we'll have to see.
Oh, boy. I said, oh, boy. It sounds as though perhaps
May not have
Jared
done the 5 minutes.
Odrick, it sounds like Jared Odrick's pit stop may have been maybe a little bit short, or possibly a blend line violation.
Yeah.
But as we looked, it looked like he was okay on the blend line, Brian, but he is going to be black flagged.
Yep. Just got it at the start-finish line.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate for the number 10 machine.
Yeah, not sure he acknowledged that, so we'll have to pick it back up down at turn
7,
where they have it as well. We'll put it on there again, see if he acknowledges it. Yeah, I think that could be a mandatory pit stop violation there. Like you said, Greg, probably not the full 5 minutes. Going to have to come in whatever time is remaining. That's
he'll have to serve that out.
Yep.
And then, of course, there is the additional time lost of making that second transit down the pit lane here at Summit Point.
Yep.
Thankfully, the pit lane here, nowhere near as long as, say, at Road America.
Yeah, no kidding, right? And again, pit road speed starts right as you enter there. There's, if you look next time we go to our camera shot, you can see there's 2 yellow cones all the way at the very end of pit road. There you see them all the way down. You see one on the right, a little bit, one on the left, and then you've got the 2 that are up front here. That's where the pit lane speed needs to be. So it looks like he may be coming in now.
Yeah, that is Jared Odrick now on the pit lane, Brian.
And Greg, real quick, he's going to be held up even more because we have another car that was pulling off. We'll get that number, who actually held him up before he could get to that box right there, and I believe that is actually going to be.
Well, that's the
708 machine.
708 machine to Timothy Lynn.
Yeah.
And we had Del Ray in the GTB1 class, the 791 car, leave the pit lane just as Odrick was coming down. So, so going to lose a couple more seconds there. We'll have to see how long he's going to be serving that penalty.
Well, he's already out the door. He's already off pit road. So
it was
it was one of those seconds. Yep, it was one of those seconds. But again, that's where it is. It only takes that 1 or 2 seconds, and now you've added another 30 or 40 seconds.
Indeed.
Because trying to hit that pit road speed.
All right, Brian. GT Racing has been a national sponsor of Club Racing since the inception of Club Racing, looking to decrease lap times on track without an engine overhaul. Aren't we all? GT Racing is a wide range of fiberglass and carbon fiber body panels, along with European racing headers exhaust systems to lighten your car and accelerate all potential horsepower from your engine. GT Racing is the national sponsor, proudly sponsors tech inspections at PCA Club Races. GT Racing also sponsors the Best Prepared Car Award with a $100 gift certificate at each club race. So whether you race a Porsche 911, 914, 924, 944, 968, 993, Boxton Cayman 996, or 997, call Joel at GT Racing today at 1-800-797-2911 or find them on the web at gt-racing.com.
Corey Friedman sitting down there on pit road as well, so he has now made his mandatory 5-minute pit stop. Joel Johnson still, Greg, has not made his. Just about 32 minutes left to go in this race.
Yeah, just about a third remaining in this race. We've got another car leaving the pit lane, and that is the Martini liveried machine, the 573 car. Now heading out on track. Is it 5? That's not. John Coster.
Yeah.
In the GTC 6 991.1 Cup car.
Yep. So again, we'll have to see, when does Joel Johnson make that pit stop for this car? That's gonna, because right now he's opened up a full lap over Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith also hasn't made his pit stop. I guess he really does like driving that new car this weekend because he doesn't want to bring it in down pit road.
All right, coming down the pit lane now, Brian.
I think that is Joel Johnson right there as Corey Freeman, or as Frank Vitale now leaves pit road. Corey Friedman now getting ready to leave pit road. So Joel Johnston now on pit road, which what that'll do is that'll definitely put Jeff Smith in the overall lead until he ends up winning. Now, or until he ends up having to make his pit stop. I shouldn't say winning, but that will put him up in the lead because he should gain that lap back over Joel Johnson. Because, again, when you have to sit for 5 minutes, it's about 3 laps that you technically lose sitting on pit road. There goes Jeff Smith now. So now that puts him on the same lap as Joel Johnson. Again, not for a battle in class for overall, but I mean for, in there. But this is for overall that we're looking at right now. So again, you're battling still in your class in the Enduro, but you're also battling in overall during this with this time frame. So Jeff Smith now, we'll see how long it takes before Joel Johnston comes off of pit road. Should be probably about another lap and a half that Jeff Smith should be able to do it before he ends up having to pit. And that could have been the team plan all along. Stay out as long as you can, let everybody else pit, and then eventually you will get to come back in as you will come in as the leader. We are officially at 60 minutes into this race. Another 30 minutes left to go to finish up this last Enduro of our 2024 Rock the Summit event here. So again, Jeff Smith now he will become your overall leader. It'll be interesting, like I said, Greg, it'll be interesting to see whether or not he gets called down pit road. Chip DeSantis now coming down pit road in that 16 machine right there. So he's going to get his 5 minutes and his fuel. Looks like, looking at timing and scoring here, Greg, everybody has pretty much made their pit stops, their mandatory pit stops, other than Jeff Smith. I think Jeff Smith right now, because he has completed 48 laps there, I do believe he is going to be the last one after we just said Chip DeSantis on pit road now. It could be that Jeff Smith is the last one on pit road.
Well, there's a lot to be said from going last to first, Brian, and he comes onto the pit lane now in that white 991.1 Cup car GT6 racer, and we'll see how things play out if Brent Desplat and John Coster are able to make their way past. At the moment, Smith has about 4 laps on Brent Desplat, who's running second in the class. So it's going to be, I think, pretty close here when that 5-minute pit stop is complete.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, at Hankook Tire, we strive to create a universal moment when the car and the driver become one. Our aim is to develop a safer, more pleasant, and more comfortable driving experience from the moment the driver turns on the engine. Embrace driving emotion and embrace the feel and excitement of being behind the wheel with Hankook Tire. Hankook competition tires are the perfect match of performance and longevity, and you can find out more by going to hankookmotorsports.com.
I got to tell you, Greg, these tires have really got to start going away on these cars.
Yeah, like I said, there was the opportunity, obviously, when they come in for their pit stops, for the teams to maybe bleed them down, but that's assuming that they're not running nitrogen. If they're running nitrogen, they should still be maintaining fairly consistent pressures.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, coming down the pit lane now, heading back out on track. Yep, that's
Joel Johnson there.
In the 287, yep.
Yeah. So he just now left.
Or 207, pardon me.
Yeah, in the 207. Jeff Smith still on pit road again. So
where we would expect them to be probably now for about another 3 to 3.5 minutes or so.
Which means what that's going to do is Joel Johnson got out in front of Corey Freeman, because here comes Corey Freeman right now across the start-finish line. He's third overall, but now he is on the same lap as Joel Johnson. So Joel Johnson just now going into turn 3, and then you've got Corey Freeman back. So again, that is actually will be the battle for the overall lead.
For the overall,
once they make that lap around with Jeff Smith sitting on pit road.
Yeah, and Brian, so there is about a 27-second gap between Johnson and Friedman, and that is, it's I think a sign that both of those drivers were almost spot on with their 5-minute pit stops. It's about where we were before both of those drivers started their pit cycles.
Yep.
Richard White in the number 97 car just resets fastest lap of the race in his GTC 8 2023 992 Cup car. They're turning in a 1:11.628.
Greg, while you're looking that up, throw that 20-second difference out to Joel Johnson, as he is going to be brought back down pit road to finish up his 5-minute mandatory pit stop. We'll see how long he's going to be on pit road to determine how long he has to sit there that he was short. But again, you add that other 30 or 40 seconds to that coming down and off of pit road. That's definitely going to throw away that 20-some second lead that he had over Corey Friedman.
Oh, my. All right, as I'm taking a look at things, Brian, I talked about Richard White just resetting fastest lap of the race a few moments ago in his GTC 8 991.1 Cup, in his 992 Cup car. And I believe that is a new Summit Track record for GTC 8 at a 1:12.728.
Well, he ran a 1:11.6 on lap 47. So
I'm sorry, 1:11.628, which was on the previous lap, one lap prior.
So again, new track record right there. Fantastic. And listen, 40-some laps into the race, and that was just shortly after his pit stop too. Right. So we'll have to see. Still trying to get that 207 down, come back down pit road. Again, didn't complete that 5-minute mandatory pit stop. So we will have to see how long it takes. It's definitely going to open up. We're going to have to see where he falls back in line now, because with Frank Vitello in that 248 machine there and Richard White in that number 97 right there, depending on where they are on the racetrack to, Johnson. We'll have to see.
Well, and Johnson's down in the carousel right now. We'll probably see him coming up onto the front straight here momentarily as he's coming underneath the bridge. Should mention that the 924 machine has just now rejoined the action. Jeff Smith now sitting 5th overall. And we've got the 207, Brian, on the pit lane.
Let's see how long he has to stay there and see what the difference is. Maybe it could be just a stop and go that needs to be done. Well, now they're just letting him go all the way through. So
he's going to rejoin now, heads back out on the track, Brian. And now just very close behind, we've got Corey Friedman. Let's take a look here.
Now, that's actually Frank Vitello in the two.
And Friedman is just now crossing the line. The gap now, Brian, is 9 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, so really not a stop and go. He's going to come out, and he came out right in front of Frank Vitello in the 248, but you're right, Greg. That 20-some seconds went down. So I think it was just a matter of coming down. You were just that 1 second stop, so just basically a drive-through penalty right there, because he didn't even go to the box to stop. They waved him right on through. So definitely had to do a drive-through penalty there. But like I said, now it's down under 9 seconds. We'll see whether or not Corey Friedman's going to be able to reel him in as this race goes on. Wait for them to come back through. I think they're just now coming up out of turn 8, coming up there, up under the bridge. Here comes Freeman. Here comes Joel Johnson. I tell you what, Greg, he's gotten around, or he stayed out in front of Fratello. But I tell you what, that time by when he came through turn 10, you talk about having all 4. He had all 4 tires, and then that little curb there at the end, he jumped over that curb. I know he had to have some air on that car. That was probably very unsettling for him.
I'll bet it was.
As he went down through there. I think that's just about going to do it for all of our pit stops. So if you have to come in now, it's going to be because you have some type of an issue with your race car. But it looks like everybody has completed their mandatory 5-minute pit stop.
Yeah, indeed. And so we've got Joel Johnson and Corey Freeman. They are the only racers on the lead lap currently, Brian, having completed 52 laps. Frank Vitello, who Johnson came out right in front of, technically a lap down. He and Richard White, Richard White, Jeff Smith, and Brent Esplund, both 1 lap down from our 2 leaders, having completed 51 laps, and then another 2, also Jared Odrick, add him to that group as well. And then we've got Dwayne Moses and Griff Esplund, Remy Farid, John Coster, Del Array, then 3 laps down.
Yeah, that lead now back down to 7.3 seconds. I tell you what, Corey Freeman coming off turn 10. He's got Richard White right there on his tail, headed down into turn 1, going through turn 1. You see it right there. They're right in front of the 16 of Chip Santos. I tell you what, that was a great battle coming out of turn 10.
All right, so let's quickly, Brian, here as we've got 20 minutes remaining. We're going to try and break things down here by class, and we will start off with GTA 4 with our overall leader, Joel Johnson. Frank Vitello, again, running a lap down in the number 248 machine. He is in second. If we then move over to GTA 3, where Corey Friedman has a 2-lap advantage now over Jared Odrick, Ben Wallace having retired the 199 car early. In GTC 3, Dwayne Moses, your leader. He's got 2 laps on Chip Santos. GTC 3, Timothy Lynn, our sole racer. He is working lap number 50. Currently, in GTB 1, Del Rey and his Cayman has the lead over Eric Liu, with Mike Beers running in third. And right now, Al Ray with a 2-lap advantage over Liu. In our sole vintage class here today, Colin Doherty, the sole racer in VGTX. He's working lap 48. In GTC 8, Richard White, having completed 53 laps. Remy Farid, our sole GTD 2 driver, working lap 51. And in GTD 1, Griff Esplund, currently working lap 52. Brian, Hawk Performance is proud to partner with PCA Club Racing. Hawk is the manufacturer of race-proven, street-legal performance friction products. Hawk is happy to be a multiple-class contingency sponsor of PCA Club Racing, and to find out more information, visit them at hawkperformance.com.
Some of these guys are using every bit of those Hawk Performance brake pads to finish up this last 17 minutes of this race. Hopefully, when they push on it, it stops, because I'm sure, after this, right now with 17 minutes remaining, they are trying to get every ounce of these race cars that they can, not only from fuel, but again, with these brakes and with these tires.
Yeah, and we've just gotten confirmation from Race Control that all of our racers, Brian, now have...
Must be an echo. They're watching the stream.
They're watching us. Hey, no, you're wrong. There are actually 2 cars left. Let's see if we get a call.
No.
And great job, some folks that we know very well working race control and on the net this weekend. Lynn and Janet Tolan, want to thank them. And of course, we'll talk as we get to the end of the day, Brian. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the great folks that we have from our national staff and that have from PCA Potomac that have put on this event. But, I think as we're starting to wind things down here, we can say that PCA Potomac and the Porsche Club of America have been amazing hosts to the racers, to us as well. And we certainly appreciate all that they've done for us. They've made our job very easy here this weekend.
Yeah, fantastic weekend. Weather was absolutely perfect.
Yes, got to love the weather stewards here this weekend.
Glad I could show up and do the weather for you. So,
just a beautiful fall day here at Summit Point Raceway, and more importantly, as opposed to every other event that we've done so far this year, Brian, no black cloud over my head.
Pretty good battles going on down in the turn 5. Spencer had that on there. I think that is that may be that's the 248, I believe, Frank Vitello, and I think Richard White shortly there, a little bit there behind it to see when they come out. It's kind of hard to see the back ends of those cars. They move so quickly through the screen that it's almost hard. I believe that is there goes Johnson there. Yeah, so it looks like Richard White has gotten around.
He has gotten around Frank Vitello, so move White now up into third. And Brian, as Friedman just completed lap number 56 and goes down into turn number 1, the delta between Joel Johnson and Corey Friedman for the overall win. And we should mention they are not in the same class.
Yeah.
Joel Johnson running in GTA 4, Friedman in GTA 3. It's now at about 10 seconds. So Johnson starting to stretch out that lead just a bit, as we've got just a little bit under 15 minutes remaining here from Summit Point and the 2024 Rock the Summit. Let's do this. Let's take our last commercial break of the race. Brian will be back in just a few minutes and bring you all the way to the checkered flag here at Summit Point. We'll be right back.
The Aaron Levitas Foundation was founded to prevent sexual assault by educating youth about boundaries, consent, and empathy using restorative approaches. Our mission is to reduce the incidence of sexual assault and help those who have experienced it heal. If we can stop sexual harassment early, we can reduce sexual assault and rape. To learn more about our many programs and initiatives, please visit our website at aaronlevitas.org. The Aaron Levitas Foundation is honored to be the charity partner for this year's Rock the Summit PCA Founders Region Club Race. We thank all the racers and volunteers for helping support our cause. Please check out our auction in person or online by scanning the QR code. All monies raised help support our mission.
Located in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and serving the entire Washington, D.C. metro area for over 20 years, EuroPros Collision Center is a family-owned and operated business specializing in high-end European and Asian collision repair. Their owner, Derek Ford, and his team of highly trained certified technicians are dedicated to providing exceptional service and ensuring that your vehicle receives the highest level of care. As a certified collision center for Porsche, Audi, and Lexus, and accepting all major insurance coverage, EuroPros is well known for its expertise in luxury vehicles, utilizing state-of-the-art equipment and techniques in conjunction with OEM parts to ensure quality repairs and customer satisfaction, returning your vehicle to pre-accident condition. To find out more, visit them at europroscollisioncenter.com or call them at 301-977-7475. As a gold sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2024, EuroPros Collision Center is pleased to support PCA Club Racing and this premier annual event.
And welcome back to Summit Point Raceway, everybody. It is the last few moments of 2024's Rock the Summit presented by PCA Potomac. And for our broadcast here, we'd like to thank the Washington, D.C. region of the SCCA for their technical assistance as well.
You know, Greg, Joel Johnson may have had a little bit of contact going in turn 5 about a lap and a half ago. I think he got into the back of Remy Feard in that 35 machine. That was under braking. I don't think he was expecting Remy to to brake at that certain point, but as you get down towards the end of this races, brakes go a little bit harder a little bit further to the floor. I should say, not harder. They go a little bit further to the floor.
Exactly,
so
those braking distances that go and expand, and what has been the norm for 65, 75 minutes.
Yeah.
It starts to stretch out a little bit.
I mean, and the lead dropped down to 9.7, where it was well over 10 seconds there. He built that back up, and we'll see what it is next time Corey Friedman comes by. There it is. Now it's over 11.2 seconds. So again, for the overall win here in this Enduro, but Richard White was able to get ahead of Corey Freeman. Again, still a lap down to that car and that team, but again, getting ahead of that and starting to still run some pretty good consistent times in that 97 as we wind down here with just about 10.5 minutes left to go.
And Brian, Hoosier Racing Tires are tires designed for champions. Our mission is to be the dominant, customer-driven provider of racing tires to racing teams domestically and internationally. Today, Hoosier Racing Tire is the largest race tire manufacturer in the world and have grown to produce over 1,000 different types of race tires. The company has its own 300-mile-per-hour test wheel, a technology center, state-of-the-art, fully integrated production facilities, and have recently added a high-tech mixing plant with enough capacity to produce not only Hoosier Racing tires, but to have the ability to produce rubber for additional entities, as well as bottle sales and distribution networks. With hundreds of race winners crowned annually, we truly are tires designed for champions.
Tell you what, if there's any of these cars that got Hoosiers on right now, they're screaming right now, getting ready to say, hey, when are we over? When are we over? Because I got to be honest with you, we get down to the end here.
Yep, under 10 minutes now. We've got 80 and a half minutes already in the books here for our final endurance race, our final race of the weekend.
Yep.
And Brian, as things are wrapping up here, let's do this. I want to mention a couple of names and a couple people associated with the event that have really provided so much in the way of assistance this weekend, not only to us, but for this entire event. I want to thank PCA Potomac's 2024 Club Race Committee, primarily their race chair, Allie Conley, Steve Wilson, co-chair, Donna Amico, the registrar, Steve Leibowitz, and Bob Simmons, the sponsor team, volunteer coordinator Ed Strotterman, flag marshal Len Duras, hospitality coordinator Deborah Corrali, paddock management Glenn Walthus, the charity team headed up by Pat Conitz, timing and scoring team headed up by Michael Brady, social media handled by Paul Amico, and of course Bill Conley, the welcome coordinator. Also want to thank some folks from the national staff, Brian, our stewards here this weekend, and they've both provided a lot of guidance to us and have been so easy to work with. Vicky Earnshaw as well as Bruce Boder. From timing and scoring, David Anderson, Chuck Perilli, and TJ Gottwald. Our scrutineers from National, Brian Gay, Lisa Parker, Joe Patain, Lori Schultz, and Dale Tuetti. Our vintage coordinator, Fred Pfeiffer, and of course some folks here. We already mentioned Lynn and Janet Toland working in race control. Mark Hillier, good friend of ours, the assistant flag marshal here this weekend. Steward's assistant, and this is somebody who's been incredibly helpful to us all weekend long, Brian. I want to thank Mario Escade for all of her assistance this weekend, and should also mention our pace car team, Dirk Decker, David Cuccinelli, as well. They have this thing about race announcers, but we won't talk about them.
We don't know who they are.
Exactly. And also medical liaison this weekend, Dr. Rick Feldman. Again, want to thank the entire team from Porsche Club of America Club Racing and PCA Potomac for what I think has been an incredibly successful Rock the Summit 2024.
You know, Greg, as you were doing that, I was watching the cameras here, and I was watching Turn 5 specifically, and Colin Doherty in that 192 machine was behind Frank Fratello in that 248, and basically that car just got as sideways as possible. Able to continue, didn't go off, but you can tell these cars are becoming very, very hateful to drive because there is very little rubber left on those tires at all.
Yeah, and we even saw during Friday's action where it was very warm, where towards the end of some of the sessions, you could see that the rear tires were starting to let go for these cars. I mean, these Cup cars, they are very high horsepower. They've got a pretty darn good amount of torque, and the one portion of this course that I think probably creates the most load, certainly on the rear tires, but quite a bit on the front tires as well, is in that carousel section, turn 6A and 6B, going into that, over by that turn 7 corner station. A very wide sweeper, but it starts off as a very slow corner. You are constantly feeding more throttle in, and it is a very delicate dance there to keep the front end of the car from washing out on you, to keep the rear end of the car, even as the car starts to sink back onto its haunches, onto the rear wheels, to keep from overpowering those rear tires and get that car underway. Very, very difficult. This circuit, for all it is, and it is primarily, in this day and age, a club racing track. So I think it's a perfect environment for PCA Club Racing. It has some challenges that you don't see at many racetracks around this country.
Sure, absolutely. Mike Levitas and Jared Odrick and I were sitting there talking last night right after dinner, having a conversation, and Mike said the same thing, right? You get through 6B, what we call it, and if that car starts to wiggle or starts to move a little bit, his words were, "I got you. I'm going by," because you're going to lose half a second to a second
as you try to recover.
And that is right, because you're having to to pedal the throttle as much as possible, really, to get through 7, to get up into 8, to really make that, get into that entry, that corner entry there, coming up really what we call 8, going up the hill. Really, you can call it 9 as well. But if you don't make the entry there, you're either going to, really wash out too far, and you're pedaling the throttle. He is correct. That is about a half a second to a second that you're going to gain on that competitor.
All right, we just watched Corey Friedman continue to pick off some slower cars here. Currently running second overall. He's your leader in GTA 3. The gap between he and Joel Johnson ahead, Brian, now expanding out to 15 seconds here on this last lap. There's, I think, our overall leader, John Johnson, heading up the hill and through turn 10. But, again, as it stands, Johnson, our GTA 4 leader, Friedman, our GTA 3 leader, Richard White, now our GTC 8 leader, and Frank Vitello running second in GTA 4. He is 4th overall, and we should see him coming across the stripe here in a few moments. Jeff Smith, our leader in GTC 6. He is running 5th overall, and it's been a great run for Jeff Smith. Started at the very back of the pack here today, a little later in registering for this event. And for a time, as the pit cycles were going on, he was your overall leader in that 2016 991.1 car. So a good run for him. Jared Odrick sitting in 6th position. I think pretty stout run for Odrick, given the incident on the very first lap, and then having to make a second run down the pit lane as he was a little short on his 5-minute pit stop. Britt Esplund currently running second in GTC 6. He is 7th overall. Dwayne Moses, who is currently on track to finish 3rd in GTC 4, running 8th overall. Griff Esplund, our leader in GTD 1. John Coster, he's sitting right at the edges of the top 10, sitting 10th overall. Currently on line to finish 2nd in GTC 6.
Tell you what, Greg, I was just getting ready to say, when you were talking about that rundown there, Richard White was the fastest car on the racetrack for the last 4 laps. Something had to have happened somewhere between turns 5 and turns 8, as we got a little bit of lockup there. I think that's Dwayne Moses going down into turn 5, because he just went a 118. He was actually right on the back bumper of Joel Johnson, our overall leader, caught him, and then ended up running a 118 lap. So that car was well off the pace.
Well, and now
it is. We can see him right here.
Yeah, Brian, over by the turn 2 corner station is now calling in the 97 car, Richard White. He has pulled his car off to the side of the track, and it looks like with a minute and a half remaining, Brian, his race is now done. A minute and a half short of that 90-minute threshold. Unfortunate for Richard White.
Yeah, like I said, when he came through turn 5 last time, something had to have happened. Looks like it's mechanical, obviously, as he pulled off here in our cutout.
Yeah, Spencer, can we go over to pick up the turn 2 camera that we have, or turn 3, and
you can't see it. He's just out to the left of the timing pylon there. Got his door open, but definitely did not sound right. Yeah. When he came by the start-finish line that time by. So they always say when you get
they're fastest before they go.
So it looks like we are waiting for the 207 here, Greg.
Yeah, with about 30 seconds on the clock. The next time Joel Johnson comes onto the front straight, he will see our starter, Mark Rougeau, with his index finger in the air. And this time, Brian, I think we could say it probably means,
one to go.
2 miles left, or you're number 1.
Here comes out of turn 10 right now.
Yeah, here he comes. Second
car
there, in the line here. And there you go, working his final lap of this endurance race, Brian. Final lap of Rock the Summit. The number 207 2022 Porsche 992 Cup car of Joel Johnson has just under 1 3/4 miles remaining.
Yeah. And we'll pick him up there. Should be getting ready to come out of turn 8 here momentarily. It's probably going to be the 4th car.
Yeah, say third or fourth car.
Third or fourth car. Like there he comes right now. He's gotten around Dwayne Moses. So here he comes now. That is Joel Johnson up out of turn 8, getting ready to come up underneath the bridge. Here he comes.
And onto the front straight he comes now, Brian, the first of those 2 cars in the line, and the checkered flag is out, and taking the overall win here today in our final endurance race of the day is going to be Joel Johnson. And look at that, Brian. We had one other driver come out and take the checkered flag, came off the pit lane at the last moment.
Colin Doherty in that 192 sat down there on pit road for about a good couple of laps and then turned around and pulled out just to take the checkered flag.
Well, there you go. I mean, Doherty running his 1984 Porsche 911. That is our sole vintage racer in this group. Maybe wanted to relax.
Take the checkered flag.
Yeah, let the equipment kind of rest a little bit, and he comes out, takes the win. All right, coming across the line and finishing on the lead lap, Corey Friedman in the 014 2019 GT3 Cup car. He takes the win in GTA 3. Frank Vitello will take the win, will finish second in GTA 4. He'll finish third overall, 1 lap down from our winner, Joel Johnson. Jared Odrick will finish second in GTA 3. Jeff Smith in the number 924 2016 Cup car. He will finish 5th overall, takes the win in GTC 6. Brennis Blund will finish 6th, finishing 2nd in GTC 6. And, that ended up being a pretty close race at the end, Brian, about 20 seconds separating Smith from his Blund. Dwayne Moses will take the win in GTC 4. Griffiths Blund, he's your sole racer in GTD 1. He'll finish 8th overall. John Coster will finish 3rd in GTC 6. Rami Farid in GTD 2 takes the win there in that class. Congratulations to him. He's our sole racer in GTD 2. Let's take a look. We talked about Colin Doherty, who's your sole VGTX vintage racer. In GTB 1, Del Rey takes the win. in his 2009 Cayman S over Eric Liu and Mike Beers. They finished 2 laps down to RA. In let's see, what am I missing here? We talked about did we talk about GTC 4 with Dwayne Moses taking the win chip, Santes finishing 2 laps down in second, and then finally GTC 3, Timothy Lynn, your sole racer in class there, and I believe that wraps up the whole rundown here, Brian, for what has been a very successful 3 days at Summit Point for the 2024 Rock the Summit.
Yep. Tell you what, I was listening to the radio. I was listening to who they were. Their Workers' Choice Car Award was, and it looks like it's going to be Colin Montgomery. But we'll let them figure that out. I was trying to get all the turns and who was voting.
Colin Montgomery or Colin Doherty?
Colin Doherty. Well, it could be Colin Montgomery too. Who knows, right? I mean, it just depends. But looks like it's going to be Colin. Colin Doherty may pick that up, but we'll find that out once they get all their tallies in. But tell you what, Greg, like you just said, a fantastic weekend here, fantastic racing all the way around from start to finish with all of the sprint races we had for the Silver Group getting 3, everybody else getting 2, coming out to these 2 Enduros today. Fantastic all the way across the board.
All right. Well, let's wrap things up here, Brian. I want to thank, of course, want to thank Spencer Gaynor here, who's been a little bit under the weather this weekend, but bringing you all the great views of beautiful Summit Point Raceway, the place that we like to call home. And we already thanked all the great folks from PCA and PCA Potomac. And I know we hope to be back here next year for the 2025 edition of Rock the Summit. Want to finally also thank the Washington, D.C. region of the SCCA, who's provided technical assistance for our broadcast here this weekend. All right, so for Brian Donati, for Spencer Gaynor, I'm Greg Ginsberg, and hopefully, like I said, we'll see you next year for 2025's Rock the Summit. Have a great, great rest of your weekend and a wonderful fall here, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
The Aaron Levitas Foundation was founded to prevent sexual assault by educating youth about boundaries, consent, and empathy using restorative approaches. Our mission is to reduce the incidence of sexual assault and help those who have experienced it heal. If we can stop sexual harassment early, we can reduce sexual assault and rape. To learn more about our many programs and initiatives, please visit our website at aaronlevitas.org. The Aaron Levitas Foundation is honored to be the charity partner for this year's Rock the Summit PCA Founders Region Club Race. We thank all the racers and volunteers for helping support our cause. Please check out our auction in person or online by scanning the QR code. All monies raised help support our mission.
Decision Technologies' experienced team of engineering and management specialists have significantly contributed to a wide array of crucial Department of Defense initiatives. Our streamlined management structures flexibly respond to customer requirements. Decision Technologies is driven by the foresight and knowledge required to advance the technical capabilities of our clients and help the nation succeed in most critical missions. Using a total systems approach, Decision Technologies provides high-quality, cost-effective technical support services. Decision Technologies' capabilities include system performance assessment, requirements definition, design trade studies, system architecture analysis, cost schedule trade studies, risk assessment, and operational evaluation. We match our capabilities to the needs of our customers. To see if they're a match for you, visit decision-tech.com. As a platinum sponsor, Decision Technologies is proud to support Rock the Summit 2024, the PCA Potomac Founders Region Club Race. We thank the 100-plus volunteers, the event planning team, and all the racers for this year's event.
With almost 200 episodes and counting, Fearless in the Kitchen, a YouTube cooking channel by Paul Amico, is dedicated to sharing hints on cooking from the heart and head with ingredients from around the world. Paul's cooking is his passion, and he wants to share it with you. Creating meals using what's on hand, Paul uses old, new, and original techniques. Just grab stuff and make it work. That's where the name comes from, Fearless in the Kitchen. Paul inspires you to create variations of the dishes he creates, pushing you to see the endless possibilities when you put your own twist on ingredients and flavors in the pan. No fancy video effects or editing, just clear and easy to follow demonstrations. So come join along on this culinary voyage. Paul posts new episodes on Saturdays and is a platinum sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2024. Paul's recipes will be featured at the Friday Volunteer Dinner as a thank you to the hardworking and dedicated volunteers who are making this event possible.
Craftsman's Auto Care is the newest offering from the legendary Matt Curry and his team from Curry's Auto Service. Comprised of ASE certified master technicians with an average of 30 years experience, Craftsman doesn't just raise but sets the bar in auto care, delivering the highest level of workmanship and customer satisfaction. With state-of-the-art facilities featuring the industry's newest and best technology, Craftsman's Auto Care services all makes of models including hybrid, HEV, and electric vehicles. They skillfully and expertly resolve the most difficult automotive repair challenges and back their work with the area's only 36-month, 36,000-mile warranty featuring digital car care inspections and show and tell service. Craftsman's Auto Care is the best team in the industry, delivering unparalleled quality with a say yes philosophy that exemplifies Matt Curry's unbridled passion for excellence. With 7 convenient Northern Virginia locations to serve you, visit them today and experience the art and science of auto care at its best. Book an appointment online at craftsmansautocare.com or call them at 833-CRAFTS-1. Craftsman's Auto Care welcomes all racers and thanks all event volunteers for this year's Rock the Summit 2024.
Fitzwater and Dean PLC is an accounting firm which dates back to 1954. We're proud that a number of clients who began with us over 50 years ago remain with us today, and we're equally proud that our business constantly grows with new clients. Our goal with all of our clients is to serve them for the next 50 years because we value relationships. We view every client relationship as a partnership and recognize that our success is a result of our clients' successes. Fitzwater and Dean are proud to be the inaugural gold level sponsor directly supporting the launch of live streaming for PCA Club Racing, a first in the nation, at this year's Rock the Summit 2024. We want to thank all of the racers, crew, their families, volunteers, and spectators, both at the track and now with live streaming, watching from anywhere in the world.
Radial Tire Company is your trusted provider of high-quality, new tires, custom aftermarket wheels, and tire repair and maintenance services. We are dedicated to giving you the very best tire experience, focusing on upfront and honest quotes, timely response to issues, and quality products and parts. Since 1976, Radial Tire Company has provided the Washington, D.C. area, including Bethesda, Arlington, Washington, and surrounding areas with quality tires in the most exemplary service. We have earned a reputation as the premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tire and wheel applications, stocking tires from all top manufacturers for whatever you drive, from small economy cars to SUVs and trucks. Our mission is to assist you in getting the most out of your tires and car. For more information, visit radialtirecompany.com or call them at 301-585-2740. Radial Tire Company is pleased to provide gold-level sponsorship to this year's Rock the Summit 2024. Thank you to all the volunteers who make this year's event such a success.
Located in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and serving the entire Washington, D.C. metro area for over 20 years, EuroPros Collision Center is a family-owned and operated business specializing in high-end European and Asian collision repair. Their owner, Derek Ford, and his team of highly trained certified technicians are dedicated to providing exceptional service and ensuring that your vehicle receives the highest level of care. As a certified collision center for Porsche, Audi, and Lexus, and accepting all major insurance coverage, EuroPros is well known for its expertise in luxury vehicles, utilizing state-of-the-art equipment and techniques in conjunction with OEM parts to ensure quality repairs and customer satisfaction, returning your vehicle to pre-accident condition. To find out more, visit them at europroscollisioncenter.com or call them at 301-977-7475. As a gold sponsor of this year's Rock the Summit 2024, EuroPros Collision Center is pleased to support PCA Club Racing and this premier annual event.